Happy Saturday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on THV 11, streaming on your TV with THV 11 Plus. We've got Ashley in the house. We've got Tracy in the house, and we're going to hear from Symone coming up in just a little bit. We've got snowfall totals, sleet totals, pictures, of course, updates on the roads left and right, and probably what you're looking at most, Tracy, being that live radar has been active.
Yes, it definitely has. I think there's going to be a lot of folks watching that live radar today. Again, what is coming, when the sleet comes, you know it, because you can hear it out there. It is so loud when it does roll through. We will see some periods of some freezing rain today as well. Hopefully that will be in the minority, of course, because we are continuing again to see things start to continue to get a bit colder. This is a look from the Big Rock Water Tower. It looks cold out there, doesn't it, friends? We're seeing those snow-covered streets. ARDOT has done a fantastic job of course, keeping these roads treated, and they will continue. They're having to kind of pivot as well, because we've got sleet, we've got snow, we've got freezing rain, and again, some very windy conditions. And we're talking about that live radar. You can stream 24/7, anytime, anywhere. And again, this is great for this situation, but once we get into severe weather season as well, you can also use this. You can scan that QR code. This is also available on my Facebook page in case you don't have time to get it done right now, but this is going to be really handy for you. That way you can just at your fingertips know exactly what's going on. This is our current, again, live radar. We're seeing a lot of that mixed bag of wintry precip coming into central Arkansas. We had about 3 to 6 inches of snow in central Arkansas. Symone put those totals together, and we're still getting them. Part of the problem, if you will, when you come in and start the morning show, people are just waking up and they're just coming in. So we're kind of chasing our tails a little bit trying to get those to you. But again, we will get more information. We would love to know what you have at your house. You can text that at 501-376-1111. Again, we love pictures, of course, but again, just let us know how much snow you got or sleet, what you got in your area. That mixed bag, again, continuing to make its way through. We will continue to see more of that sleet, and again, those brief periods of that freezing rain as we're heading into the rest of the day. Looking at our map here, our guide, seeing that purple is a little bit more of that ice, again, a little bit further south, and again, seeing that more mixed area. And still going to see some snow in the northern tiers of the state, but I think for the most part, we are done with the snow here in central Arkansas. Doesn't mean we can't see a flurry or two, but certainly going to see a bit more of that sleet and then periods of freezing rain. Watching again southern Arkansas, that is the big concern for me, at least as far as weather goes as the state as a whole, where we're going to see those temperatures again below freezing. They're going to get that more freezing rain. That means, of course, we are going to see that water completely freeze on, again, contact with any surface. But here's a few of those snow totals that Symone put together for us this morning. Again, looks like we're going to be safe to say 3 to 6 inches. So let us know if yours is any different, and we would love to know outside of central Arkansas what you guys are seeing. Again, 501-376-1111.
Thank you, Tracy. Overnight, central Arkansas began to see snowfall at a rapid pace. This morning, conditions have remained consistent.
Sleet coming down. THV 11's Tamer Knight joins us live this morning with the most recent look. I see on a bridge this morning. How's the overpass looking, Tamer?
Well, Ashley and Hayden, I can't say it enough. Tracy said it, you've said it, Ashley said it. It is cold out here. Right now we're on the I-30 overpass on 6th Street and near downtown Little Rock, and we're just going to step to the side so you can see the roadways that we've been talking about all morning. This is I-30, and again, still covered in ice, still covered in snow. We've seen quite a few cars, quite a few 18-wheelers traveling on this road. If you do not have to get out, I encourage you to stay home, because again, they've been putting out the salt and grind, but it's still very thick, still very sleek. And of course, on the inner streets inside of the city, the roads are also covered in ice, covered in snow that we've been showing you all morning. It still feels like a -2 wind chill out here. If you don't have to come outside, I would encourage you to just stay at home. It's cold out here. And again, as Tracy mentioned, it's only going to get worse. So we'll continue to bring you live updates from across central Arkansas, across the metro area. But for right now in Little Rock, I'm Tamer Knight with THV 11 News.
Oh my goodness, Tamer, you look cold. Go get in the car right now with the heat on. Warm up just a little bit. Now we're going to head north to check on the city of Roundabouts.
All right, this morning we are joined by Jenny Day, who is usually covering news at our sister station in San Diego, by the way. She's in the Conway area in Faulkner County with what people are seeing there. Welcome to Arkansas, Jenny, and on behalf of all of us, I am sorry.
You You guys are so kind. I'm really legitimately so glad to be out here this morning helping our sister station. I wasn't even going to sure if you were going to share that I was from San Diego, but yes, born and raised in sunny San Diego and here in Arkansas for the first time. What a cold welcome, I will say, but you know what? It's been great so far. I even said on the drive-in, I got to come back in the summer and really give you guys a better chance to show what you're made of. I did make it down to the Arkansas River last night, did a little tour of downtown, and it really is great. So if you are able to stay home and just kind of hunker down this weekend and enjoy this winter wonderland, then great, because that is, we don't get this too often here. And so it really is kind of just a nice change from the norm. As you mentioned, we have made our way a little bit further north from Little Rock. We are in Conway, actually, and it normally might take about 30 minutes from downtown Little Rock to get to downtown Conway, but it took us about an hour and 15 minutes. I was pleasantly surprised when we made our way out of the hotel room that it's a really, thankfully at this hour, we know we're going to see a bit of a combination, but it was really a rather dry rain and sleet, if you will, more like a hail almost. And so I was really, really glad and pleasantly surprised that was the case, because we know slush is what really makes for dangerous road conditions. So, people are heeding those warnings. I will say that, we've done so many preview stories on how much prep has gone into this. I will say there's about 700 plows across the state. I did not see a single one on our drive. So the roads were a little bit hazardous, but again, people were really, really being mindful and going very slowly out there. So that is one good thing to report. And you can see we're showing you downtown Conway right now, and it is indeed a ghost town. A lot of people just indoors and staying safe this weekend. It was bone dry yesterday on the ground when I landed, and now we got about a year's worth of snow overnight. So again, I just hope you're kind of enjoying this. It's a huge winter storm. 230 million people are being impacted by ice and snow and rain, just kind of a big winter mix. And so bring it on. We are just glad to be out here. We will be reporting live from Conway all morning long, and just really stay safe, and we'll keep it here, guys.
All right, Jenny, thank you. By the way, welcome to the natural state as well. During the break, I'm going to let your photographer explain to you what Toadsuck Days is. It's takes place about 200 feet exactly where you are. I'll let him explain to you while you get warm inside that car. Thank you.
I think she's like, did you say Toadsuck?
Toadsuck Days?
Right.
What is that? Yeah.
Well, we're continuing our team coverage this morning. Moving now to Pine Bluff.
THV 11's Carter Thweet checked in with Jefferson County Sheriff Lafayette Woods Jr. overnight as freezing rain and ice continues to build across southeast Arkansas.
Yeah, he's sharing what residents should be prepared for as conditions could worsen.
Well, I'm THV 11's Carter Thweet here with Jefferson County Sheriff Lafayette Woods. And Sheriff, this freezing rain is coming down here for sure. What kind of weather conditions do y'all anticipate in Jefferson County this weekend?
Obviously freezing rain is one of those things that we know we're going to have. We've already started that. A little sleet and snow, if that's going to be possible. Don't know if that's going to happen or not, but temperature have dropped drastically over the last several hours. I've seen it. I've been out in it since this morning, and I've seen the difference significantly. We're hoping the residents do stay home, avoid unnecessary travel. Obviously, if there is an emergency, we would hope that they would travel down the main thoroughfares that have been treated. Highway crews have been out, treated some of those main thoroughfares with salt to make sure they are cleared for any weather we may be approaching.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about that. What has Jefferson County's preparations looked like this weekend?
So mainly our preparations have been making sure residents are well aware of things they need to watch out for, be aware of, and conditions like this. This is not something that we're not familiar with. We've had conditions like this and to it and even worse. One of the things that I am really focused on is the residents who maybe are seniors in areas where there are a lot of overgrown trees. Obviously that's a concern when it comes about freezing rain, ice hitting those lines, and even collapsing and down trees, making roads impassable and hard to travel, especially for our first responders. And so one of the things we've done to prepare for that is making sure deputies are going out surveying those roads to make sure they can report real time what those conditions look like. So if there's a need to go out and maintenance anything, we can report that to the road crews.
Awesome. And last thing I can think of, I'll give you the chance to add anything else at the end. You already talked about some of the travel tips, mainly don't, but what's some of your other messages to residents this weekend?
One of the main things is, and we see this all the time, it's going to be hard for people to go out, the service members, whether it be HVAC or plumbing. One of the things that we've asked that people be mindful of is dripping their faucets in the kitchen and also the bathrooms, the sinks, the tubs, things of that sort, and also leaving cabinets that also are joined with vanities, keeping those open and keeping their temperature in their home set at a comfortable temperature where you don't have the issue of bursting pipes. Because that happens, it's going to be hard for service members to come out, particularly plumbers, to get out and service those things in weather like this.
Carter Thweet reporting for us this morning. Travel disruptions are growing as these winter conditions continue to get worse.
At Clinton National Airport, officials say all departing flights scheduled before noon today are canceled. Anyone flying later today or on Sunday should check directly with their airline before heading out.
Now, some flights are still operating, but airport crews are working around the clock to keep runways safe.
We use different equipment for different types of precipitation. So whether it's pre-treating the runways with chemicals or using a snow broom or a plow to clear the snow off that way, they've got everything tested, checked all the maintenance requirements, and they are ready to go when the weather happens.
With slick roads across the area, travelers are urged to allow extra time and avoid unnecessary trips to the airport if the flight is not confirmed.
Another update is expected from airport officials within the next hour.
As these temperatures keep falling here in Arkansas, a massive winter system is pushing much of the country on alert, putting the country on alert. Snow and ice are expected to spread across cities nationwide this weekend. As CBS's Christian Benavidez reports, nearly half of the U.S. from the south through the northeast now bracing for these dangerous conditions.
The first snow has already started to fall in Texas and Oklahoma, part of a winter blast that has roughly 180 million people under a winter storm warning from the Rockies to the Northeast. In Boston, grocery stores were slammed and supplies were running low at this hardware store.
Yeah, we've been selling a ton of ice melt and shovels. We're running low on stock, but I think we should have enough for the storm.
At least 17 states and Washington, D.C. have declared states of emergency. In New York City, up to 18 inches of snow is forecast, 700 salt spreaders, and more than 2,000 sanitation workers will be deployed.
While we cannot control how much snow will actually fall this weekend, we can control how we prepare for and respond to this storm.
Down south, 18,000 utility workers were pre-positioned in the Carolinas, while at Tennessee's State Operations Center, officials will monitor road conditions in real time. The Salvation Army in Arlington, Texas, is preparing overnight beds and meals for people seeking refuge from the storm. And in Austin, sanitation trucks have been treating the roads.
We are preparing for the worst because we never completely know what the weather is going to do in Texas.
Residents here worry about a repeat of a deadly ice storm in 2021 that overwhelmed the state's power grid system, leaving millions of people in the dark and cold.
The ERCOT grid has never been stronger, never been more prepared, and is fully capable of handling this winter storm.
The National Weather Service is calling this system a historic storm, packing a mix of ice and snow with extremely cold air on the back end. Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
And as this winter storm continues to hit Arkansas, power crews on high alert this morning, preparing for outages and those tough travel conditions. Electric cooperatives cover most of the state, staging crews and equipment ahead of this storm and now during this storm. Joining us live again is Rob Rodell, the man, the myth, the legend himself with the co-op, trying to help us. Hey, I had to give you an intro, brother. You've been with us all morning and you're helping folks out in Shea County. You're everywhere this morning.
I'll be with you as long as you want me to be, my friend. I promise that. I promise that. I might even bring you some snow ice cream if we get some snow here in Central Arkansas instead of all this sleet.
Man, come on, brother. So first off, let's talk a little business before we talk about our Red Wolves a little later. How are things going? I know you restored a lot of power in southeast Arkansas. Trouble spots popping up in southwest Arkansas, but where are we as we just pass 8 o'clock?
Life's good. Life's still good here with us. We got some scattered outages throughout the southern part of the state, but all in all, this is almost, it's a very good day so far still, just like I told you and Ashley earlier. Life's good. We are concerned about the freezing rain coming in. We're also concerned, quite frankly, about the very cold weather that's coming. It'll basically be like, I have a cardiologist, and when I go, I have to do a stress test, which is no fun, by the way. When you get a little older, you'll learn about this. So this weather, what it does, it creates a stress test for the infrastructure system that the co-ops have. If there's a crack, if there's anything, any minor infraction within our infrastructure, this cold weather will expose it. So it could crack an insulator on a power line, other things like that. There's these minor things that could occur. And I'm being an old co-op guy that's watched this through the years, but those are the things we're concerned about at this time.
I hear you, brother. So also, too, we were talking a little bit earlier about the plants. All these folks working extremely hard at these plants because you guys are pumping out more power than, ever during this storm.
Absolutely. This morning when I woke up, well, not this morning when I woke up, because I woke up at 5 o'clock to get ready for you guys, because I had to do my hair and everything. But,
looks great.
But we expect to hit a new winter peak this weekend, which will be about 3,100 megawatts. But we have people at all the power plants, and one of the things at the power plants people don't realize, but a lot of water is involved with running those power plants because it creates steam. And so you have to have water to create steam. So there's a lot of water lines. So our men and women at these power plants have they've been working last 2 months to winterize these power plants, putting up windbreaks, making sure there's heaters around water lines to make sure that the water lines don't freeze over. So a lot of work that goes on. I always tell people, when you flip your light switch on, if you saw the massive dragon behind that switch, it would probably make you shake your head and wonder, how does this actually happen every day?
It's unbelievable. It is amazing how you guys take so much complex situations and everybody working so hard to have something simple like that. Before I let you go, my friend, let me say this. You mentioned it at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. For folks maybe who are just joining us, power does go out. You're struggling. How do we get a hold of you? Best way to make sure we get it restored?
Best way to make sure, do not contact us via social media. Contact us via your co-op's app or the phone number or email. That's the best way to contact us and let us know exactly what's going on. We have systems that we can tell when your power is out, but it's always good to call and log it in just to ensure that we know for sure what's going on.
Love it. Thank you, sir, as always. We so appreciate it. And I think your hair looks great, by the way. I think it's fantastic. You look wonderful.
I like yours too, brother. Just don't let it freeze outside.
I love it. Oh, I'm staying right in here. I'm feeling for those live crews this morning. And, of course, those amazing folks who are working and trying to make sure power is all across the state of Arkansas. Brother, we so appreciate it. Thank you as always. And I think we'll catch up with you again about an hour or so. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate what you guys are doing too. Thank you so much.
Right back at you. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's take a look at those roads. I don't know that we have traffic so much, but again, just those road conditions this morning. This is, again, taking a look at I-Drive. We can see lots of these road conditions are snow covered. We've got some ice and, of course, that slush as well. We've already started to see a few accidents as well. I wanted to click on these real quick and let you see this is Pulaski County 440. Again, Jacksonville eastbound left at left shoulder and that on-ramp. Again, we don't have a ton of information, and I am seeing that most of these are mainly stalled vehicles. A few accidents here and there. This is 40. Pulaski County, again, eastbound left. I think we've seen that one quite a bit. Let's take a look at a few of these. Again, we'll take a look at that area and see if we can get a good shot of that accident by chance, just so you know what you're dealing with. Well, maybe not, but you can see things are very, very snowy. Again, the snow covered there in Jacksonville, so take your time if you are heading out today. Again, we are going to continue to see these conditions get worse and worse as we're heading through the next couple of days because we're not really seeing, again, any temperatures that are giving us any breaks. But look, we caught ARDOT again plowing those roads. They're doing an excellent job as they have been all morning long, and we're going to continue to see, again, this refreeze as those really cold temperatures continue to make their way to us. Now, again, we are not hoping that a lot of folks are not on the roads. We don't need you there. We need you home safe, again, for all the essential personnel to be able to get out and about. But if you are out, again, things are very, very slow. A few accidents already. Most of those, again, are stalled vehicles. Starting to see a few accidents, but that's mainly just folks sliding off the roadway. So just enjoy this time at home. Again, make sure you are taking care of your pipes, your people, and of the pets. And we'll take a look at the traffic again here in a little bit. But for now, we're going to go ahead and let Symone take over weather for a little bit.
All right, so if my friends in the booth can work with me for a second, I want to move around a little bit. We're going to start with this look at radar right now and temperatures across the state. Now you see everybody pretty much in the teens and low 20s, below freezing. So with these temperatures at the surface, you would expect to see snow statewide. Well, we do have some differences happening across southern Arkansas. If you were following Tom and Nathan the past couple of days, they've been talking about that little bit of nose of warm air that tries to break down in some of the lower atmosphere. That is going to give us that difference between some sleet and some freezing rain. So you see locations like Arkadelphia, Pine Bluff, further south where there's that purple, that is anticipated to be more of a sleet versus that snow. If we can pull back up Storm Track 11, that computer, because I want to show you sometimes what we look at when we're forecasting winter weather are these QTs. This gives us a view of the upper atmosphere, what's happening above our head. Now this is actually the QT for 12Z, which is 6 a.m. here, well, not here in Little Rock. This is for Pine Bluff, excuse me. Now there's a lot happening on this page. What I want to bring to your attention is where you see my mouse circling. This gives you the profile of the atmosphere. Now this line right here is the freezing mark. When these lines kind of cross that freezing mark, that's telling you temperatures are above freezing. So that snowflake that we had developed further up, that has opportunity to melt, but of course it refreezes before it makes it to the surface, and that's where we're seeing this sleet. So there is a little bit of a nose of that warm air between what we would consider 700 millibars or 300 kilometers or 3 kilometers, excuse me, above our heads to 1 kilometer above our head. That's where we're seeing that nose of warm air down in Pine Bluff, which is giving us more of that sleet compared to somewhere like Russellville, where we're seeing more of that snow. That's because we're right at the freezing mark, but we don't cross the freezing mark kind of at that same level. So let's take it back to max 1. I wanted to just explain that for a second because it could really be the difference of 1 to 2 degrees, not even at the surface, but above our heads, that makes the difference in the type of winter weather you're seeing. So right now we've got a big mix across central Arkansas, definitely more of that sleet and ice further south, but temperature is very cold. We're starting out the day in the lower teens, some single digits to our north, Harrison, Batesville, 8 degrees, 9 degrees, and then to our south, some places right in the lower 20s. Unfortunately, not looking to get out of that today. We're going to continue to be cold, but again, that warm air aloft could make the difference by 1 to 2 degrees. Here are some of the totals we've been seeing across central Arkansas. The North Little Rock National Weather Service office up to 6 inches at their last report. Russellville and Pope County, 3 1/3 of an inch of snow so far. Harmony, Arkansas and White County, same measurement, 3 1/3 of an inch. And then Catholic Point in Conway County and Adams Field here in Little Rock, both checking in so far at 3 inches. Looking through the rest of the day, as I've mentioned, we're really not going to get above freezing. Feels like temperatures are going to be even worse. 12 degrees right now, but feeling like below zero, -4. Through the middle part of the day, it's going to continue to feel below zero, but through the afternoon, at least feeling like the single digits. And again, we could see more of that wintry mix through the afternoon as that warm air aloft tries to nudge its way a little bit farther north. Do not think it'll get farther north than maybe where I-40 slices halfway through the state, but we continue to have that winter storm warning in effect pretty much for the whole state through 6 o'clock tomorrow, because this is not our only round of winter weather we're going to see that's falling right now. Dangerous cold continues as well with our extreme cold warning in effect through Monday afternoon. Wind chill values, it feels like temperatures could be as low as 10 to 20 below zero. As you just saw, we're around 4 below zero. So we're going to continue to see that through the day, but through right now and into the early afternoon could continue to see some of that mix across central and southern Arkansas, maybe staying primarily snow up to our north. That's just that, again, warm air aloft trying to nudge its way a little bit farther north. Now through the evening and overnight, we will try to see some more of that snow nudging further south as that cold air tries to overtake again overnight, and we see those lows bottom out, but still tracking that mix across primarily the southeastern half of the state through tomorrow and into tomorrow afternoon, where we're starting to see the last of the precipitation wind down. We'll continue to provide weather updates in this stream, but if you're watching us on THV 11 Plus, we do have the live radar up on our app. If you're watching us from CBS or on your TV, here is a QR code to scan to be able to follow along. So maybe if you don't want to watch the full newscast, you can still get those radar updates. As far as the rest of the weekend, unfortunately, we're not warming up very much. We're going to stay below freezing until Tuesday afternoon at the earliest. But again, a few degrees of a difference aloft can make the difference between more of a snow dominant day or a sleet dominant day. It does look like by the time we get to Sunday, things starting to wind down, but our weather impact alert will continue through Monday. I have another check-in of your forecast coming up, and Tracy will have another check-in of traffic.
Thank you, Simone. While this storm continues to move through, the biggest threat for many is the dangerously cold temperatures. Extreme temperatures can turn deadly fast, especially for older adults, young children, and anyone without reliable heat. And as it gets colder, the danger rises. Nationwide, more than 1,000 people died from cold exposure or hypothermia in 2023, with the highest risk happening in January. Experts say if you must go outside, cover exposed skin and dress in loose layers, protecting the face, hands, feet, and ears. Frostbite often hits first in those areas. If the body loses heat faster than it can make it, hypothermia can set in, causing confusion, slurred speech, and extreme fatigue.
As the coldness progresses and the frostbite increases, you could have things like numbness. Your extremities could get very pale and then can get hardened as well as you continue to progress through that.
Call 911 immediately if someone shows these signs. Cold conditions also increase slips, falls, and crashes, so keep warm gear in your vehicle in case you're stranded. And here's a look at the state's power outage map. We checked power outages overnight, and just over 400 customers were without electricity. As of right now, that number has climbed to more than 5,900 across the state as this winter storm continues to move through. Crews are tracking outages in real time as conditions worsen.
Because it's that good, because I can't stop. Cheese dip addict. Label it right there. Cheese dip addict. I make the title so I can actually put that in there. Hey everybody, we're in my hometown of Cabot for this week's Eat It Up at Pea Farm Bistro. I bet you've heard of them on Facebook. They are extremely popular. I am so happy to be able to try for the first time. You know we gotta have cheese dip. It is absolutely phenomenal. A club the size of your head. How about a little chicken salad? Salad, by the way, that is so good with a fresh ingredient and so much more. I already got my coffee. Now it's time to eat. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
Well, we started off as Hot Rod Wieners, our food truck, in 2014. And we did that for about a year. Then we bought another one. And she and I were both doing 2 food trucks at a time. Just kind of going, we'd go set one up, drop it off, go back, pick the other one up, take it somewhere, drop it off. So we opened the first Pea Farm Bistro in a little 750 square foot shopping center. So we're still in a shopping center, but a few years later we moved up to a 3,500 square foot place.
And we're in the same shopping center. We just kind of just moved around to the other corner.
Just jumped to the other side, yeah.
I knew people liked us and they loved our food truck, but I sometimes get down and he's like, "We're gonna do this, this, this," and I'm like, "No," and then it just happens to work out, and he's always right.
Oh, did you get that part? Is that the part?
It works out in the end.
We do a massive chili dog. It's got homemade chili, it's from scratch. All the ingredients that go in the chili, we blend and saute the peppers and the onions and everything that goes in there.
And we source as much local as possible, so.
Yeah. We make the chicken stock that goes in it. There's nothing canned in there. There's no pre-chopped vegetables. It's all cut, fresh, and And then, of course, we make the dumplings from scratch. I think you'd have to.
Chicken salad, it's my mom's recipe. She did it just a tiny bit different. I added the cranberries and took out the grapes, and then it just kind of evolved, and it's probably one of the biggest sellers that we have. We sell it in pints, quarts. We have people come from all over just to get quarts of chicken salad.
Club is a standard thing for me, too. Everywhere I go, if they serve a club, I'll try it. Now, at this point, I gotta say, I'd be hard pressed to find one that stands up to our club. But
we still get them though at places.
We roast our turkey and slice all of our meats and cheeses in-house fresh every single morning.
Again, y'all, this is an award-winning chili dog, by the way. Now, you gotta have good chili with a chili cheese dog too. That chili is fantastic. I cannot think, besides maybe chili, a better cold weather, chilly weather food than chicken and dumplings. Ooh, and a little kick to it. Yeah, look at that. Ooh. I think this would be my go-to lunch right here. Absolutely, when I'm back in Cabot. Look at this bite you set yourself up for right there, right in the middle, just that hunk. You go to the real deal. Don't be going to no chain to get some of this, because this is amazing and fresh.
Yeah, that chicken and dumplings would hit the spot.
That
right
would.
now.
And the chili dog, the club, all of it sounds good.
Yeah.
You had me thinking about a club because we saw this first on Thursday. So last night when our whole crew went to get dinner because we're all downtown, I was like, there was a club sandwich on the menu. I had to get it.
Had to get the club.
I couldn't stop thinking about that club.
I was jealous. I will admit, when it came out, I was like, oh man, I'm a little jealous of that. So it was good. But big shout out to all the folks at that amazing spot in Cabot. I love Pea Farm so much. They're great. And oh, by the way, celebrated 9 years.
9 years.
9 years this week. Yeah, it's a big accomplishment. Awesome. Went from the food truck. Now they're running things in Cabot, but probably closed today.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
Stuff going on out there.
We have to wait until maybe mid next week. It's going to be cold for several days.
Oh, here we go. All right, so overnight, as we know, Little Rock, it saw a lot of activity. I'm going to run the prompter because that's my job.
Oh.
Little Rock sprung into storm plan into action.
You probably need to do that. Yeah,
your
sorry.
turn now, it's fine.
Extra first responders are on call this morning to handle any emergencies. Public Works crews tried to get ahead of any potential chaos last night and treated some of the roads. They've been focusing on main arteries and trouble spots, and they have a full fleet ready to get back out there as that layer of slush keeps building up.
We have 9 major routes that we cover with our snowplows. We have 12 big trucks and we have 5 small trucks. In addition to that, we also have like 2 motor graders. Those motor graders are very helpful in breaking the ice.
City leaders encourage people to monitor their social media pages for updates on their other operations throughout the storm. The winter weather spans our whole state this morning, with everyone seeing different forms of precipitation.
Nate Benson with our Northwest Arkansas sister station shows us what things are looking like right now in Crawford County.
Hey there, good morning. Nate Benson here in Crawford County in Van Buren, actually near the I-40 interchange just along Route 59. And as you can see, it's very slushy, wet, heavy, fat snow that fell overnight. Roadways, Route 59 still covered over. The issue kind of here is, now that the temperatures have dropped, you're getting kind of that hard packed layer of that, heavy moisture that fell last night is now freezing, causing a bit of a kerfuffle, as I like to call it, back in Buffalo. Certainly, you want to give yourself some extra time, give yourself some extra distance from people. ARDOT crews have been up and down 59 and I-40 all morning long. I've seen them while I've been traversing the area. So certainly, plow crews are out, but plow is only going to, move that top layer of snow, right? Because there's that base layer of what's now ice, basically. In a lot of areas, you're going to want to be careful. Give yourself extra time this morning if you have to go out. But as officials have been saying all week long, it's one of those instances where if you don't have to go out today, certainly don't. But, people I spoke to today, said, this isn't necessarily the worst they've seen, but we also haven't seen the worst of this storm yet. This is only the first phase of many phases that we will see all throughout the weekend here in Crawford County and all of Northwest Arkansas. So certainly, again, give yourself some extra time. Be careful and just, stay alert out there. Reporting in Crawford County, I'm Nate Benson. We'll send it on back to you.
All right, Nate, now we're going to head north to check in on the city of roundabouts.
This morning we are joined once again by Jenny Day, who is usually covering news at our sister station in San Diego. She is now in the Conway area. And Jenny, I do have to apologize. I thought your photographer was one of ours from Arkansas. So when I said Toad Suck Days to you earlier, you were probably like, what is this guy from Little Rock talking about? I have no clue.
There
it is. There we go. Yes, sir. Welcome to Toad Suck Square in downtown Conway. How are things things in Faulkner County?
You know what? I am loving Arkansas so far. I really, truly am so glad to be helping our team. Again, we are a part of sister stations. I normally give the surf report. Today, we are giving the snow report. So hopefully you can get a little laugh at my expense this morning. I got to share, though. I am a born and raised San Diegan, but I did live in Minnesota. You know, many of us move all over for this industry. And so my first market was in northern Minnesota, and then I moved to Vermont as well. So I think that's why I was picked on our San Diego team, because I have legitimate winter gear and I really do love it. It's just it's beautiful out here. It's a winter wonderland. As I mentioned before, if you're able to just kind of stay home and be safe, and I hope that power for you stays on, then yeah, just enjoy it, because you know we got about a year's worth of snowfall overnight. When I landed in Little Rock yesterday, it was bone dry. Yes, it was windy. Yes, it was a little bit cold, but it has just only gotten colder, my friends. Giving you again a live look here downtown Conway. It is beautiful, a little bit of a ghost town. I keep promising myself I'll have to come back here because, yeah, so far so good. The roads were slushy. They were okay. I really appreciate what the crews have done to prep the area. Everyone was being really mindful, going very, very slowly. I know this has been kind of the talk of the town. We've all been prepping for this. 230 million Americans in this path right now. So we are one of them. We are feeling it, as we continue to say. This is just the start of it. It's going to kind of be on and off all day. I'm happy to report it's been kind of a drier snow, so I'm feeling a little bit better about that condition-wise today. But yeah, we've heard that statewide that there's about 700 snow plows out there. We only saw one person on the side of the road, and they did seem okay. They had just kind of fishtailed a little bit, but and you know it. In other areas, ice has kind of been the biggest threat. We are not seeing too much of that yet. You might be able to see some people plowing their business there. A lot of shops are closed up right now, though. Understandably, we are all just kind of, again, I hope you're able to just be home and enjoy this winter wonderland. So guys, we'll be out here all day. I'm happy to reporting here, and yeah, just keep it here and stay safe out there.
We so appreciate it. Well, welcome to Arkansas again. Yeah. I'll tell you what, you come back when it's not ice, not snow, take you to a Razorback game. We'll go out to San Diego if the bosses are watching, and we'll go to a Padres game. Fair trade, I think would be great. I would love to trade and happily volunteer for the surf report. Marty, if you're watching, surf report, please, right here. It'd be fantastic. I'd love to do it. Thank you so much again. Of course, we've been to Pine Bluff, we've been to Conway, Northwest Arkansas, but then right back here around Little Rock, you know, lots been going on.
Yeah, THV 11's Tamer Knight is joining us. I believe she is in Little Rock. She was in North Little Rock a little while ago, but it looks like, yeah, at the overpass now, and it looks cold, Tamer.
Well, Hayden and Ashley, that unfortunately has not changed. Yes, it's still cold. Yes, it's still sleeting. The freezing rain is still dropping. And right to the side of me, there's actually a vehicle that is stalled and stuck. So we're going to pin so you can not only see Interstate 30, but also 6th Street and this SUV. They've been trying to get past this light, but as you can see, she is getting stuck. So this is your sign. If you don't have to leave the house, I know we've heard Dave Parker from ARDOT say it all morning long, stay inside. It's not safe, it's only getting worse. And as you can see, she is really having a hard time getting out of the snow, and she's also in an SUV. So that was 6th Street that you just saw. So the conditions are very similar compared to the interstate and the city streets. So again, it's only gonna get worse. It still feels like -2, that wind chill, because it's still going. I think I saw when I last checked, the degree said it was 12 degrees, but it feels like -1. And Ashley and Hayden, that is exactly what it feels like. -1 degrees out here in Little Rock. For THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
Yeah, Tamer, I'll update it for you. Our bug at the bottom of the screen, it's now 10. It went from 12 to 10, so getting colder out there. Oh, please stay warm. Try your best out there. Thank you again. So Energy Arkansas is also executing a big storm plan before this all got here. So the company says it has roughly 3,500 employees and lots of trucks at its disposal, ready to respond to anything that pops up. Now, they spent the last few days trying to get ahead of potential problems, inspecting equipment and proactively trimming trees that could fall on power lines. Still, some of those outages are likely across the state. If your power does go out, Entergy asks that you please be patient, saying restoration times can vary based on weather, damage, and access to affected areas.
All right, let's check those roads. Really no traffic, of course, to talk about this morning. Taking a look at our map here from ARDOT, we are seeing lots of accidents already this morning. Again, folks are getting out and about. A lot of these are just stalled cars, but you can see the entire state, the roads are covered either in the snow, the ice. Again, it's a bit of an ice patch out there in a few areas. I want to show you one accident that is in Jacksonville as we are continuing to watch. I'm sorry for making you a little dizzy there as I move this around, but it is on a ramp. And again, seeing these temperatures really drop. This is going to be on 440. It is the ramp eastbound, left shoulder, the on-ramp. Pretty much it's closed, but as you'll notice, those are SUVs. So, you know, I know there's a lot of confidence with folks sometimes when they have an SUV, they think they can make it. But again, that has closed that area, but they are on the scene to kind of try to get that starting to get cleaned up, but it could back things up if there are a few folks heading that way. But the best thing you can do, again, is just stay home unless you just absolutely have to get out. But you can see the camera moving. Simone's going to talk about this in just a minute, but the winds are still going out there. It's a beautiful sight, that's for sure. But we will see, again, probably more accidents as we're heading into the next few hours. So again, stay home if you can. We are again seeing a lot of those roads very, very slow if you do have to get out. Not necessarily seeing any big, huge major accidents, but again, people going off the road, people sliding, people not being able to climb those inclines in their vehicles. So make sure, again, if you can, stay home. We'll see the Wrecker Services out, and as they mentioned all week long that they will be out to help you, but it may be a while. So if you do have to go out, make sure you have a little kit with you. Again, blanket, food, water, phone charger, all of the necessities. We'll take another look at traffic and those road conditions coming up.
Aside from the THV11 Weather Garden to just give you a view of the winter wonderland. Maybe you don't want to face the cold and give you a view of what it looks like. Can we actually pin this camera over towards the pond? I want you to see, this is a sight we don't get to see often. The pond is fully frozen over. Hopefully our fish friends are going to be okay once things start to warm up. But as Tracy mentioned, we do have a wind blowing, so we've got some of that snow blowing around. It's kind of blowing in my face, so I'm going to start to head back inside. If we could take max one full in the meantime. We've continued to see that wintry weather impacting pretty much all of the state this morning. Maybe a little bit of a dry moment for our friends in northwest Arkansas and extreme western Arkansas. Now we see mainly some snow and sleet into central Arkansas. Further south, there is more of a sleet and freezing rain mix. If you were following along earlier, we talked about even though the entire state is below freezing right now in the teens, the difference in the upper atmosphere by just a few degrees is really what's making the difference in the type of precipitation we're seeing. So as we continue through the day, we'll see more of that. So far, some of our snow totals, we are seeing some of the highest totals across central and north central Arkansas. The North Little Rock National Weather Service office reporting so far 6 inches of snow. Up in Pope County and White County, 3 1/3 of an inch. And then Conway County and here at Little Rock, Adamsfield, we're up to 3 inches. I'm sure those totals will be going up soon because we continue to have precipitation falling with our winter storm warning in effect until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And throughout that time frame, that's when we're expecting to see at least some more precipitation falling. Our extreme cold warning continues through Monday afternoon. Wind chill values right now about 4 or 5 degrees below zero. At points we could get as low as 20 degrees below zero. So take this seriously. If you do have to go outside for any reason, make sure you bundle up to stay safe. Through the rest of this afternoon and into the evening, I still got my coat on, I'm sorry. But through the rest of this afternoon and into the evening, we'll continue to see that wintry weather impacting most of the state. And overnight into your Sunday, likely going to see more of that snow start to work its way further south again. Coverage really starting to break down by the second half of tomorrow, and then by tomorrow evening looking to see the rest of that start to move its way out of here. Our weather impact alert continues through Monday, again because of the storm system working its way through, but even once the precipitation stops, temperatures are going to still remain very cold, not looking to get above freezing at the earliest until Tuesday afternoon. So staying in the teens today, could at least reach the lower 20s tomorrow, Monday, likely waking up in the single digits with those feels like temperatures well below zero, but will warm up in the afternoon to the upper 20s. Tuesday, likely another morning where we start out in the single digits, but could at least rebound to the upper 30s in the afternoon. And with that sunshine, that'll help us melt some of that snow and ice a little bit. But overnight, as we continue to dip below freezing, we'll see that ice refreeze again. We'll kind of rinse and repeat that for a couple days, but it looks like another cool down in store for the second half of next week, where we can see temperatures dipping into the lower 30s again.
Hello there, I'm meteorologist Tracy Beene, and I'm in for Hayden, and I'm of course here with Trey Reed with Arkansas Game and Fish. And you know, it's a little cold out there, and we've got a lot to talk about, some change of plans and then some other little fun tidbits, right?
Yeah, big, I guess the breaking news, or earlier this week, the breaking news with the weather is the postponement of the Arkansas Big Buck Classic, which was scheduled to take place this weekend. Now going to be moved back a couple of weeks. February 6th, 7th, and 8th will still be at the fairgrounds. But, you know, I was talking to Tommy Murkison, founder of Big Buck, earlier in the week, and he said, look, this was a no-brainer. He's listening to folks like you, Tracy.
I was so glad when I heard. I mean, I assumed you would, but I was very thankful when I heard that they've been postponed.
It's hard to believe. They've had some inclement weather, rain, and even ice and things like that in the past, but they've never had to actually move it except during COVID time.
Right.
You know, that during the pandemic there was some movement, but this is really their first time. But look, as Tommy said, it was a no-brainer.
Right.
Like, you see what the forecast is. It's going to be extreme cold. Two things are going to happen. Number one, not a lot of people are going to show up when conditions are like that. And number two, it's a safety issue.
Of
and
course.
You know, you're bringing 35,000 people into that area.
That don't need to be on the roads anyway.
Exactly. So anyway, so mark your calendars, February 6th, 7th, and 8th now for the do-over of Big Buck Classic.
For folks that maybe are new to Arkansas or maybe haven't been, give us just a little overview of what that is, because it's so fun.
It is so fun. You know, well, it started out as a big buck contest. You know, there's no entry fee or anything. It's just like, hey, if you got a good deer this year and you want to come bring it out and have it measured, and there are prizes, you know, some nice prizes, but it's really turned into so much more than that. Yes, there's still a big buck contest at the center of it, but all kinds of attractions. I mean, birds of prey and different animal exhibitors. The rattlesnakes is one that everybody gets excited about every year. And then tons of vendors, you know, selling different hunting and outdoor products, and just, you know, a chili cook-off. I mean,
and bring the kids. The kids will have the best time.
Totally a kid-friendly event. I mean, so much. A couple of great door prizes this year. Arkansas Best Chevy Dealers is giving away a bear den trip where Arkansas Game and Fish goes in and does a research. We tranquilize mama bear and do some gather data on the cubs. So somebody's going to get a chance to walk away with that, as well as, you know, I think $1,000 gift card to Hunter's Refuge, as well as a lifetime hunting and fishing license. There's some great prizes and lots of stuff. But look, whether you win anything or not, lots of fun stuff. Just going to have to wait a couple more weeks for it this time.
It's a great time and well worth going. And again, and take the kids. They'll enjoy it as well. All right, let's talk nonprofit. You've also got something else to share with us, correct?
Yeah, really just want a call out, a celebration, and recognize Arkansas hunters for reaching an incredible milestone, Tracy. In December, Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry hit the $1 million mark in donations solely from people who are buying licenses on the AGFC website. Okay, so there's an option. You can donate a certain amount. You can actually put in your own amount, or there's increments like when you buy your license, like, hey, I want to donate to Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry. Hunters Feeding the Hungry and Game and Fish worked with the state legislature over 10, 12 years ago to like implement that. Well, so we are now we just hit the $1 million mark. So congratulations, Arkansas Hunters. Thank you for your support. Look, Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry does great work, and hunters have done a great job of donating deer, but that's just one part of the equation. You got to have money, because they still pay the processors, although they do it at a discounted rate. You still got to pay their employees, and so Hunters Feeding the Hungry pays those processors, and so it takes deer and it also takes cash. And so this is represented, those donations from the Game and Fish website through the license portal represent about a third of their operating budget. So it's very important. So look, just news that I wanted to share and say congratulations to Arkansas Hunters for pitching in and helping, and also a call out to Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry for the great work they do, taking care of less fortunate Arkansans.
I think it's pretty cool though to know that, you're paying for those licenses. Where's that money going? Well, it's going to an amazing
so this is over and above the license fee, and they get if you make a donation to Hunters Feeding the Hungry through the Game and Fish licensing system, they get 100% of that. There's no administrative fees taken out or anything like that. They get all of it.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, well, there's a lot going on, and again, if you need to know anything at all, I promise you can find it on the Arkansas Game and Fish website for sure. There's always something there interesting. You can just go read. I like to go read and find out things as well.
Lots of stuff there,
There
Tracy.
is. All right, I need you to stay warm, stay safe, and thanks so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, that's your outdoor report.
Well, ARDOT crews have been in response mode overnight, working interstates and state highways as conditions change. We know that won't slow down anytime soon. And joining us one more time this morning to give us the latest update, ARDOT spokesman Dave Parker. Hey, Dave.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. So you have been with us all morning talking about these road conditions. Anything new that we need to know about now?
Nothing has changed. We're plowing, we're applying rock salt. We're trying to keep up with it. It seems like the sleet here in West Little Rock at least has slowed down a tad. I've seen my first brave sledders or people sledding, whatever you say. No, it's just going to be a long day for us, a long weekend. Nothing's melting. I was just checking the conditions here on my road. It's basically 3 or 4 inches of ice, topped off with a little snow. That's really what it is. So, we'll try to knock it out one at a time. We don't have any major accidents reported. Thankfully, I think people have stayed indoors. But the interstates 30 and 40 are not in great shape, as you might expect. But we'll get to it.
Yeah, we've heard Tracy talking about different parts of the state getting different types of precipitation. And how does that change how ARDOT responds in different areas?
Dramatically. I mean, in the Northwest, we're getting a lot of snow, but it's powdery snow, so it's easy to move, but then it blows back because it's so light. No real treatment there needed anymore. Central Arkansas and in the River Valley, where the sleet's coming down, we're using rock salt. It's very aggressive. It can work at these temperatures better than the brine, better than the super brine. That allows us to kind of gives us a slush that we can at least start to plow away. Eastern Arkansas and the southeast getting freezing rain and potentially ice. That's really the trouble spot. I feel for those people there that may see some pretty big power outages. So a little bit of everything means we have to change our approach depending on what region you're in.
Yeah, well, for people that are watching right now and they're trying to decide whether they want to go out maybe later on, what would you tell them to understand about staying off the roads?
Why would you want to get out on this? Why would you want to get out on this? It's probably 10 degrees now. I think it was 15 when I got up this morning at 4 o'clock. Why would you want to get out? Nothing is open more than likely. Where are you going? Unless you're going to work. Again, first responders, doctors, nurses, I completely get it. They need to be out there, truck drivers. That's why we're working to make it somewhat passable for them. But for the average person, where are you going today? Stay inside, stay warm. As Hayden said earlier, watch the Razorbacks, enjoy the day that way.
Well, hopefully you get a chance to go in and warm up a little bit now, Dave. We appreciate you staying with us this morning.
Thank you.
It is definitely
Solid
cold.
advice.
I've seen the red nose there.
Man, he's been everywhere talking to everybody too. By the way, we want to hear from you. Talk to us a little bit. 501-376-1111. We've got so many great pictures. Got some Facebook pictures, videos sent to me left and right. We love to see these when you're safe at home. Norman, Arkansas. How about that? Thank you, Barb. Good pics. Loving them.
All right, this is from Greta Houston in Natural Steps, and that's almost a rolling. So that's a little elevation there, again, a little past Pinnacle. So starting to see some snow and a little sleet.
Encore Heart Hospital, looking through the glazed window. That's a pretty sight.
Keep them coming, Brett. I love them. Seeing the snow pics. Amberley from Little Rock, right here in Little Rock. What's always funny and interesting, Tracy, is I keep looking. I'm like, okay, is it just full of sleet? Is it full of snow? Like I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah.
All right, Simone, you want to do this one?
This is from Whitehall, from Francis Lynch. I do think, kind of answer your question, Hayden, maybe a mix of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is that dry, powdery snow, so kind of almost.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a pretty, I guess, deep, if you will, swath that was heading into central Arkansas. Swath, and kind of made its way through. And so that's where we're seeing those bigger totals.
These events, you know, they're always so interesting when they happen here in the natural state. I always love listening to you too because I learn new terms that I didn't know before. A swath of weather moving into the natural state too. And you know, people keep asking me. I know we're about to go to weather as well. So I watch all the time. I pay attention all the time. Steve in Conway, watching right now, by the way, is texting me, blowing me up, asking Simone, asking Tracy. So when's it getting out of here? I said, Steve, it just got here. It just got here, Steve.
Yeah.
You already ready for it to be going?
Make some chili and just
Everybody's
enjoy
been asking us for snow. You got the snow. Now I need you to, maybe not Steve specifically, but everybody that's been saying winter has been too warm. I hope you're having fun. Temperatures in the teens across much of the state now. If y'all can work with me again in the booth, I want to bring up the explanation we had earlier, but we're going to keep it here for a second while I pull that up. We were talking about how even though the entire state is below freezing, quite a few places are seeing sleet compared to rain, or even further south in extreme southern Arkansas, Union County, southern portions of Ashley and Chico counties. That is more of a freezing rainfall, and that's due to some differences actually above our heads in the upper atmosphere. Now, what I'm going to bring up for you, if we can bring up Storm Track 11 now. We pulled these up earlier. There's a lot on the screen. What I want you to focus on is the left-hand side where my mouse is. This is what we call SKU charts. This gives us a profile of what's happening above our heads. Now, this is actually this morning's SKU from Pine Bluff. This was the forecast for right now, 9 a.m. Now, what I want you to note, this blue line that is diagonally dashed from right to left, this is the freezing mark. This is a measure of air temperature. This is right at the freezing mark. Green lines, red lines, that's the measure of the actual air temperature that we're recording, and then the dew point temperature. Well, for much of the column, they stay below that freezing mark, which is what you would anticipate with winter weather. Starts out as a snowflake, works its way down, but at a certain point, about 3 kilometers to 1 kilometer above our heads, it's slightly above that freezing mark or that blue line. So that is where that snowflake had the opportunity to melt. But then once it gets back below freezing, refreezes before it makes it to the surface. So we're seeing more of that sleet to our south compared to, let's bring this up to another place like Fort Smith. Over to our north and west for same story. For the entire column though, we're staying behind this blue line or below freezing. So that snowflake, even though it might get close to melting because it stays below freezing, that snowflake stays intact until it makes it to the surface. Now we're going to take this back to Max 1. I hope that explanation made a little bit of sense to you, that even though at the actual air surface we're all below freezing in the teens right now, what's happening above your head is going to make the difference. Nathan and Tom been talking about over the past couple of days, we would have a little bit of nudge of warm air trying to work its way north. However north it can make, it will make the difference in those snow totals versus those sleet totals. Right now it looks like we've been keeping that cold air closer to the surface for areas primarily along and north of where I-40 slices through the state. To our south though, some of those purples is more of that mix. We've been picking up some good totals so far this morning. Looking to have this map updated or this graphic updated before the next weather hit. This is what we've had so far though. Greatest estimate we have right now coming from the North Little Rock National Weather Service office, 6 inches. That's across the river though, compared to here in Little Rock at the Adams Field Airport, only 3 inches. And in the mix of that, Pope County, White County recording over 3 inches. Again, we'll have another update on that in a second. But our winter storm warning will continue through tomorrow. This is the time frame that we're expecting the winter precipitation to actually fall. As far as the cold air, that's going to stick around a little bit longer. Our extreme cold warning will continue through Monday afternoon, but as far as us getting above freezing, that'll take even a little longer. But this is in effect through Monday afternoon, because during this time frame we can see wind chill values between 10 below zero to 20 below zero. We've been seeing below zero wind chill values this morning already. It's not going to get much better between today, tomorrow, and into Monday. Winter weather will likely continue through your afternoon as that warm air tries to nudge its way a little bit farther north in the upper atmosphere. Could see more mix for areas farther north, with the snow primarily to our north. Now overnight, as we start to see temperatures fall again into more of those overnight lows, some of that snow could start to work its way further south, and through tomorrow afternoon could see some isolated or spotty snow coverage across some of central Arkansas, but that really is starting to dwindle down by tomorrow evening. This is right after we're anticipating that winter storm warning to expire. Now our weather impact alert will continue through Monday, because as I mentioned, even though the precipitation will continue through tomorrow, we'll continue to see temperatures cold enough to keep this on the ground for several days. Don't be surprised if this gets extended beyond Monday, because looking at the forecast, even into Tuesday, we'll get above freezing in the afternoon, but those overnights are really going to give us some trouble, especially for your morning commute. So we'll continue to talk about what you can expect. We'll have another forecast update here in a bit.
Live from Arkansas's streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News, Saturday.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. It is now 9 o'clock. We are approaching hour number 4 here on THV 11 and THV 11 Plus. How you doing this morning?
Good. You know, the morning is flying by. We've had a lot to talk about, trying to cover everything from what's happening in every part of the state to how the roads are looking with ARDOT. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
A lot going on this morning. We've mentioned the sleet more in central Arkansas, the snowfall in northern Arkansas, and unfortunately for our friends in the southern part of the state and the southeast, they are the ones dealing with the freezing rain and the ice. Traffic has obviously been a problem this morning for the few folks that have gone out so far this Saturday morning. We're going to send it over to Tracy and Simone, who have been monitoring not only the weather conditions, but the traffic as well. Hey guys.
Hi, good morning. We are again seeing those road conditions deteriorate as we're heading into the morning hours. Lots of snow covered, ice, slush, all of it. And you can see quite a few accidents. Those are the little icons there with the little triangle and the exclamation mark. So I want to go ahead and show you again a few of these accidents. There's one in Jacksonville right now that has blocked a ramp. Again, starting to see some of these accidents be a little bit more so than others. They may have that one cleaned up now. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, looks like they do have this one cleaned up, but some of these on ramps, people are having a little trouble making their way up. And again, this was 2 SUVs earlier, so making sure again, if you do have to head out, that you do have an appropriate vehicle to do this. Even a few of these areas are seeing again some of these, even just a little incline for even on the regular old interstate. We're having some bigger box trucks having trouble getting up there as well. If you're heading up more towards the Searcy area, again seeing some conditions there, a little bit difficult for folks. I want to take another little tour here. We'll go down into around Granite Mountain, 530 again, coming in from southern Arkansas. The roads are completely covered, and as I said, as we're going through the morning, we're seeing more and more accidents. Most of these have not been major accidents, but we are seeing again lots of folks sliding off the road. So that is something to keep in mind. I wanted to show you, it was closer up here into Searcy. Well, I won't make you sick by taking you on this little adventure that I'm on, but luckily not a lot of folks are on the road, but visibility is again a little bit deteriorated as well. But we'll start to see hopefully a little improvement, but it's not going to be until maybe even mid next week. So Simone, how is weather doing? Because I know things are going to pick up here before long.
roads, and you can see those snow-covered roads that Tracy just gave you. As far as when the roads will clear, as she mentioned, it's likely going to take until middle next week. Now, the interstates, as we've been talking with ARDOT, they've been doing what they can to treat the main roads and interstates. For the people that have to be on the roads, we want to emphasize, if you don't have to be out, try to avoid going out, because it is a difficult trek, especially with temperatures in the teens, and we continue to have precipitation fall. Now, main highways, think of like Highway 10 or Cantrell Road. I think down into Woodrow Road in southern Little Rock. Just thinking about some more places. Rodney Parham is another busy road. Those will continue to have impacts through Monday night. Side streets, back roads, your neighborhoods, especially places that don't get a lot of sunshine because you have a lot of shade, likely won't see any improvement with that until Tuesday and into Wednesday. And that's just because temperatures are going to stay below freezing for so long, even after we continue to see precipitation. I'm sorry, I cannot get my words out this morning, but here is a look at what's happening right now. We continue to see that wintry mix across the southern third of the state, the rest of the state continuing to see some snowfall. There are some areas of a little bit heavier snowfall getting into northeastern Arkansas. Temperatures primarily in the teens. We do have a few places in the single digits to our north, like Batesville and Harrison, and to our south, a few places in the lower 20s, but generally speaking, just cold out there wherever you are. Now, currently feeling like -4, will continue to feel below 0 through at least the middle part of the day. Then we feel more like the single digits through the afternoon. I know that doesn't seem like much improvement, but it's a little bit of improvement. We might be able to see a little bit of a break in precipitation for a few hours as well before our next round picks up later this afternoon, and our winter storm warning continues through tomorrow. Again, this is just specifically for the precipitation. The cold weather will stick around a little bit longer. We'll talk more about that coming up in your 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
All right, Symone, thank you. Overnight, central Arkansas began to see snowfall at a rapid pace, and this morning conditions have remained consistent.
THV 11's Tamer Knight has been live all morning long with us in Dogtown and Little Rock, and now it's State Capitol. We're looking at you, and it's a beautiful picture, but I know it is cold. Tamer, how you doing?
Hayden, Ashley, something has definitely changed. Maybe Symone or Tracy will have a better explanation, but I think it's the wind. That negative wind chill was at 5. I think it's probably at, is there such thing as -0? Because the wind is blowing so fast and it's making things a lot worse. So not only is it cold and it's sleeting and the sleet is slapping me in the face, but also the wind is going pretty fast. So if you haven't been outside already, now is probably not the time for you to go outside. And if you're not on the highway, you're watching this at home, that's the best place for you, because again, the conditions out here are treacherous. The snow, the ice is piling up even faster. And like I said, guys, I have no other words besides the wind is blowing harder, the sleet is coming down faster, and it is really cold out here, Ashley and Hayden. Luckily for you guys, they're in the studio, but I'm happy to be here for THG 11 News. I'm Tamer Knight.
Ooh, and
maybe the ultimate irony, the only thing politicians can agree on is that it's freezing outside right now. All right, Tamer, thank you. Go get warm.
Yes, get back in that car. Now we're going to head north to check on the city of roundabouts. Watch out for those roundabouts.
Let's check in on our newest Arkansan, the resident San Diegan. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Jenny Day is with us in Faulkner County, having a ball in downtown Conway. I would point you to some amazing food and coffee shops right there, but Jenny, I'm sure they're closed, and it's a nobody out downtown Conway this morning. How are you?
I am doing really well. San Diegan is the correct term, but I am just proud and happy to be here in Arkansas with you guys today, helping our team out, because again, we have some severe weather. It has arrived. What a difference a day makes. Just yesterday, it was bone dry when I landed, and now we are getting about a year's worth of snow overnight, it feels like. And yes, it does look like such a cute downtown. I would normally love to be taking your, recommendations, but we'll get there. It'll happen at some point, because everyone, I'm glad to see, though, is heeding those warnings, except for these two little ladies. Their dad is part of the transportation department, so you kids are actually the ones kind of enjoying this snowfall. What do you think of it so far?
I think it's really, really cold.
Yeah, that's true. Tell me, so this has been kind of a dry snow, so the snowman you were trying to make didn't work that great. Slush works better for a snowman, but you tried, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what else do you guys think? Are you kind of having fun with this? What are you going to do in the snow today?
We're probably gonna go in the back of his car and go sledding, and we're gonna get some of the snow out of the trunk, and we're probably just gonna make snowballs, and then after we throw it, we're just gonna hide.
Well, good day. Does this happen very often?
No.
No? Oh my goodness. Well, I really do appreciate you both taking the time to chat with me. I hope you enjoy the snow. Again, if you are able to just stay home and be safe today, that is my recommendation. We did drive from Little Rock north to Conway. You know that typically might take about 30 minutes or so. It took us an hour and 15. Everyone going really slowly. And so let's bring in Transportation Department, Jacob Reynolds. I really do appreciate your time. Let's just remind people just some safety tips if you are one of those who has to go out today.
Yeah, I would. Today's a have-to case, right? If you don't have to go out, I wouldn't do it. It's been mostly snow, so we're getting some traction right now, but I think that'll leave later.
And it's almost like the state is split in half. Like to our south, it's a bit more rain. And then to the north here, we're seeing, again, thankfully, kind of a dry snow. How are conditions for you?
It's pretty good so far. Like I said, we're getting some traction. We're able to get some of it off the road, but it's the cold that our plows are having a hard time cutting it all. So it's going to be a couple of days of some bad road conditions.
Again, this is just the start. We have days to go of this. So talk to me a little bit more about the prep that went underway.
So we spent about 2.5 days pre-treating most all of our roads, about 300 miles or so of our roads, and once the storm got here, we've switched over to salt and sand for traction and some melting purposes that way.
Well, again, just stay safe out there. You mentioned this does happen every few years, so it's not completely unusual. But what else would you want locals to know?
Just if you have to get out, be safe. Take care of yourself. Go slow. Speed limit's probably too fast. I'd slow it down and just be safe.
If you do slide, what do you recommend it? Because yes, there's a good amount of snow, but it's really it's freezing. Temperature right now, 14 degrees with a wind chill of -2.
Yeah, so I mean, if you slide, turn into the slide, obviously, and just try not to panic. Try to stay moving a little bit and just don't slam on the brakes.
Right. Any other, the floor is yours. Any big shout out to your crew? Again, they've done a lot of prep and they're out here working in these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a good crew and they've been working around the clock and will continue to do that for the next 2 or 3 days. And a big thanks to their families too, because a lot of them are home alone right now. So yeah.
Well, you stay safe too. I'm sincerely grateful for your time this morning and all that you have done to keep us here in the state safe. So, really appreciate your time. Jacob Reynolds with the Transportation Department. Again, we are live in Conway this morning, giving you a look at the conditions here. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jenny, thank you. And when you talk to Jacob off camera in just a second, ask him what a wampus cat is as you made your way to Arkansas. You can find out exactly what a wampus cat is up there in Faulkner County. Thank you so much.
All right, we have teams spread out across the state ready to show us what it's looking like in their area.
Joe Ellison from our Northwest Arkansas sister station takes us to Fort Smith this morning.
I'm here in Fort Smith, right along Rogers Avenue. If you're wondering what those road conditions look like, take a look. You can see that it's pretty dangerous conditions out here. Crews have come through at least once to clear this, but it has been snowing since that happened. So if you have to get out today, try not to, but if you do, this is what you're going to be up against. It is pretty slick out here, so take it easy if you have to get out. Now, in the city of Fort Smith, we spoke with Josh Bufink, and he says that the road crews are out there. They'll be working on those side streets, the residential streets, to try to be patient. They're going to try to get to all of them. And also, their transit system here in the city of Fort Smith, the regular routes, of course, that's not running today, but he did say there is one exception.
Fort Smith Transit is not running currently on our fixed route service, but if there's a necessity, somebody needs to get out, we are currently running transit on demand, so you can give us a call. We can pick you up, take you to your appointment if that's necessary, but we're really trying to keep people inside if at all possible. Avoid any unnecessary travel. If you do have to travel, take it extra slow, be cautious, and stay safe.
So here in Fort Smith, those road conditions pretty dangerous this morning. We even took a trip out on Interstate 540. That looks a lot like Rogers Avenue. Dangerous conditions out here. Try to stay in if you can. If you have to head out, make sure you bundle up. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, I'm Joe Ellison, 5 News.
Well, back here in Central Arkansas, travel disruptions growing as this winter mess continues.
At Clinton National Airport, officials say all departing flights scheduled before noon today are canceled. Anyone flying later today or on Sunday should check directly with their airline before heading out.
Some flights are still operating, but airport crews are working around the clock to keep those runways safe.
You know, we use different equipment for different types of precipitation. So whether it's pre-treating the runways with chemicals or using a snow broom or a plow to clear the snow off that way, they've got everything tested, checked all the maintenance requirements, and they are ready to go when the weather happens.
With slick roads across the area, travelers are urged to allow extra time and avoid unnecessary trips to the airport if their flight is not confirmed.
Another update is expected soon from airport officials.
Well, as these temperatures keep falling here in the natural state, a massive winter system pushing through the rest of the country, and it is putting a lot of folks on alert. Snow and ice are expected to spread across the nation, and it is a big mess. CBS's Christian Benavidez reports nearly half of the U.S. from the south through the northeast now bracing for dangerous conditions.
The first snow has already started to fall in Texas and Oklahoma, part of a winter blast that has roughly 180 million people under a winter storm warning from the Rockies to the Northeast. In Boston, grocery stores were slammed and supplies were running low at this hardware store.
Yeah, we've been selling a ton of ice melt and shovels. We're running low on stock, but I think we should have enough for the storm.
At least 17 states and Washington, D.C. have declared states of emergency. In New York City, up to 18 inches of snow is forecast, 700 salt spreaders, and more than 2,000 sanitation workers will be deployed.
While we cannot control how much snow will actually fall this weekend, we can control how we prepare for and respond to this storm.
Down south, 18,000 utility workers were pre-positioned in the Carolinas, while at Tennessee State Operations Center, officials will monitor road conditions in real time. The Salvation Army in Arlington, Texas is preparing overnight beds and meals for people seeking refuge from the storm. And in Austin, sanitation trucks have been treating the roads.
We are preparing for the worst because we never completely know what the weather is going to do in Texas.
Residents here worry about a repeat of a deadly ice storm in 2021 that overwhelmed the state's power grid system, leaving millions of people in the dark and cold.
The ERCOT grid has never been stronger, never been more prepared, and is fully capable of handling this winter storm.
The National Weather Service is calling this system a historic storm, packing a mix of ice and snow with extremely cold air on the back end. Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
Well, good morning. It is 9:16. It is Saturday, and we are again here this morning to get you through the day. We had a lot of activity as we were heading into the overnight hours, and that, of course, is having impacts on the road. We are seeing again those snowy, icy conditions as we are heading into the next few hours. Again, that will probably get a little bit worse, and those temperatures, as we've talked about, aren't going anywhere. We are going to continue to see those cold temperatures get even colder, and as we're heading into midweek, we'll finally start to see a thaw. And now looking around the state, we are already seeing quite a few accidents, especially if you're heading up towards, again, past Beebe into that Searcy area. Taking a look on Interstate 30 around Hope, again, those side roads. Here in Central Arkansas, things have calmed down a little bit. We had quite a few accidents earlier. Most of these have been folks maybe sliding off the roadways. So again, be very, very careful. Even some SUVs, of course. I know there's sometimes a bit of confidence with an SUV, but again, even they are having a little trouble. Let's go on a little tour of around the city. 6:30, again, the snow-covered streets here in Little Rock. Luckily, there's not a lot of traffic out there, which I am thrilled to see. Let's go ahead and take a look down in southern Arkansas. Maybe you'll see as you're coming in from that Pine Bluff area, 5:30, again, just a lot of snow in those icy spots for sure. Let's do a good overview here as we can see a good pit of the city.
There we go. Normally we can see actually all the way to maybe even Rodney Parham area, but the clouds are a little bit lower. The wind is really whipping around out there. We're having a little break again from that sleet right now, but it'll pick back up here before long. But again, I'm happy to see there's not a lot of folks out on the roadways. Let's see how things are doing out here in the North Little Rock area. This is right around McCain Boulevard again. Just one car. Love that. Also want to thank again ARDOT. They've done an amazing job. It seems like the last few times we have picked up these cameras, it seems like they have somebody out there plowing and again scraping the roads. Let's go ahead and take a look one more time and then we'll jump to a few other things. This is Morgan area. Again, if you're heading in from Conway or maybe even that Maumelle area, things are, again, roads are a bit of a mess for sure, but it looks like they might be, if you're going to say the worst in general, we are still seeing those areas off to the northeast. So take your time again as you are, if you are getting out and about, it doesn't matter where you are. Again, we're going to see these icy roads, these snowy roads continue. Now around our area, still seeing a lot of that live traffic. Again, it's moving, it's just moving slowly at times. So we will start to see again some of these conditions improve, but it's not going to be until maybe even midweek of next week. We'll start to see the interstates maybe getting a bit better Monday into Tuesday, but those side roads and back roads are going to be a mess for a while. So keeping that in mind, again, temperatures are going to remain very, very low. They're going to get even colder, which means all of this that's on the ground is going to continue and it's going to stick around. So stay safe, and we're going to have to look ahead again maybe for school and work conditions for Monday and Tuesday. Simone?
Well, as tempting as it may be to come outside and take in this winter wonderland, this isn't the best type of snow for any snowball fights or snowmen. In fact, this snow is so dry and powdery, it's almost moving like salt. And also we've had a little sleet mixed in as well, but right now I do think it's primarily snow across the capital city. We're going to take that radar full to give me a moment to step inside. I just wanted to show you, as beautiful as it may look, this isn't the type of snow to have fun in. And with these frigid temperatures in the teens, honestly, if you don't have to, I would not come outside. Now further south where you're seeing the pink, that is primarily sleet, and I say sleet as opposed to freezing rain because looking at those upper air profiles that we talked about earlier, that does support more of the sleet, especially with temperatures as cold as they are. Now we have updated some of our snow totals from this morning. We got some new totals and new locations to talk about. In Mayflower, up to 6 and a little bit over 3/4 of an inch, so just shy of 7 inches of snow reported so far. The National Weather Service office in North Little Rock still with totals up to 6 inches right now. Conway also out of Faulkner County with a little bit over 5 inches. Ferndale here in western Pulaski County reporting 4 inches so far, and our friends in Cabot reporting right now 3.5 inches of snow. Our winter storm warning will continue through tomorrow evening. This is kind of the time frame where we're expecting the precipitation to actually fall, and then beyond that is where we talk more about the cold. As we continue through the day, I do want to point out this is a different model from what we used earlier, because the HERM model did feel a little aggressive with how far north it was bringing more of the sleet as opposed to the snow, just based off of the upper air soundings. But continuing through the afternoon and into the evening, likely going to see round 1 moving out of here by the time our evening crew is checking in at 6 o'clock. But overnight into Sunday is when we start to pick up round 2. We'll start as some sleet, probably more of a mix at first, and then transition to more snow across the capital city and central Arkansas by tomorrow morning and into the middle part of the day. Middle part of the day, we are starting to see some of that breakdown to the south. Could likely still see some precipitation to our north, but that'll really start to move out of here by tomorrow evening. This is the time frame when we're looking to see that winter storm warning expire. So beyond that, we continue to talk about how cold it is. 12 degrees right now in the capital city, but it feels like 0. That's actually an improvement from earlier where the feels like temperature was in the negatives. We do have some of that though to our north. Clinton right now feeling like -2. Batesville, Jonesboro feeling like -5 and -6, and to our south Even those places in the 20s, Monticello 20 degrees, feeling like 10. So that's why I say, as much as you may want to get outside and take in the winter wonderland, ask yourself, is it really worth it right now? Because you can't make any snowmen, you can't make any snowballs, and it's just going to be cold throughout the day. Again, that second round will pick up later this evening and overnight into your Sunday, and then beyond the winter weather, we'll continue to see that dangerous cold. Our extreme cold warning continues through Monday afternoon, where we can see wind chill values as low as 20 below zero. And again, you've already been seeing some places feeling like they're below zero. So take this seriously. Make sure you're staying safe. Our weather impact alert has actually been extended through Tuesday. I missaid that earlier. So in effect between now and the 27th, due to this winter storm moving through, and even beyond the winter storm moving through, temperatures are going to stay cold where we won't get to melt any of this. So through tomorrow, likely going to stay in the teens, could likely see some low 20s on the board. But Monday morning and Tuesday morning, we wake up in the single digits. Monday likely not going to get above freezing. Tuesday may be able to get a few degrees above freezing, and with that sunshine, that'll help us melt some of this snow and ice. But as you see, overnight we get back below freezing in the teens for your Wednesday, but we'll get above freezing in the afternoon. It does look like we have another cool shot in store for the second half of the week, where we'll spend our afternoons in the low 30s.
All right, thank you, Symone. While this storm continues to move through, the biggest threat for many is the dangerously cold temperatures. Extreme temperatures can turn deadly fast, especially for older adults, young children, and anyone without reliable heat. And as it gets colder, the danger rises. Nationwide, more than 1,000 people died from cold exposure or hypothermia in 2023, with the highest risk happening in January. Experts say if you must go outside, cover exposed skin and dress in loose layers, protecting the hands, feet, face, and ears. Frostbite often hits first in those areas. If the body loses heat faster than it can make it, hypothermia can set in, causing confusion, slurred speech, and extreme fatigue.
As the coldness progresses and the frostbite increases, you could have things like numbness. Your extremities could get very pale and then can get hardened as well as you continue to progress through that.
Call 911 immediately if someone shows these signs. Cold conditions also increase slips, falls, and crashes, so keep warm gear in your vehicle in case you're stranded. And here's a look at the state's power outage map. We checked power outages overnight, and just over 400 customers were without electricity. And it looks like as of right now, the number has climbed to more than 5,300 across the state as this winter storm continues to move through. Crews are tracking outages in real time as conditions worsen.
Well, as we know, overnight, Little Rock sprung its storm plan into action.
Extra first responders are on call this morning to handle any emergencies. Public Works crews tried to get ahead of any potential chaos last night and treated some of the roads. They've been focusing on main arteries and trouble spots, and they have a full fleet ready to get back out there as a layer of slush is building up.
We have 9 major routes that we cover with our snowplows. We have 12 big trucks and we have 5 small trucks. In addition to that, we also have like 2 motor graders. Those motor graders are very helpful in breaking the ice.
City leaders encourage people to monitor their social media pages for updates on their other operations throughout the storm. The winter weather spans our whole state this morning, with everyone seeing different forms of precipitation.
Nate Benson with our Northwest Arkansas sister station shows us what things are looking like in Crawford County.
Hey there, good morning. Nate Benson here in Crawford County in Van Buren, actually near the I-40 interchange just along Route 59. And as you can see, it's very slushy, wet, heavy, fat snow that fell overnight. Roadways, Route 59 still covered over. The issue kind of here is, now that the temperatures have dropped, you're getting kind of that hard packed layer of that, heavy moisture that fell last night is now freezing, causing a bit of a kerfuffle, as I like to call it, back in Buffalo. Certainly, you want to give yourself some extra time, give yourself some extra distance from people. ARDOT crews have been up and down 59 and I-40 all morning long. I've seen them while I've been traversing the area, so certainly plow crews are out, but plow is only going to, move that top layer of snow, right? Because there's that base layer of what's now ice basically in a lot of areas, you're going to want to be careful, give yourself extra time this morning if you have to go out. But as officials have been saying all week long, it's one of those instances where if you don't have to go out today, certainly don't. But, people I spoke to today, said, this isn't necessarily the worst they've seen, but we also haven't seen the worst of this storm yet. This is only the first phase of many phases that we will see all throughout the weekend here in Crawford County and all of northwest Arkansas. So certainly, again, give yourself some extra time. Be careful and just, stay alert out there. Reporting in Crawford County, I'm Nate Benson. We'll send it on back to you.
All right, Nate, thank you, sir. Northwest Arkansas is Tracy and Symone. You've been talking about, that's like snow. All snow up there, right?
It is. Yeah, but it's still, there's more to come.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
they're likely going to see totals way higher than what we're picking up.
We're not done with things yet. And, we're going to have a little bit more today, but it's going to be a mix of that sleet and freezing rain.
Please sleet.
The more north you go, the more snow you're going to get.
That's not the case usually. Usually we get a big burst of and
there's a
by the
couple
time we
rounds.
wake up, it ends, and then we play, and then it melts.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I know we've talked about this, but it's going to get colder. Like the cold isn't even here yet.
It's already cold.
As cold as it is, yes, it's definitely going to get colder.
Yeah, it's not here yet.
I saw that Monday low, 3
and it's going to feel below freezing.
Not the feel-like temperature.
That's the air temperature.
Just the temperature, So people are going to be taking pictures and sending them to us from their window. They're not going to be going outside.
Oh, look at
Here's
there.
a great photo. I love that. Playing out in the snow this morning.
What it looks like from my home in Arkadelphia.
Look at the bird cam.
What, y'all are moving too fast. Okay, thank you.
It was on auto forward. Sorry about that. That's a backyard bird. Yeah, cam and camcord. Oh,
those little ones are up early.
Of course they
don't
are.
care
Yeah,
that
but
school. It's a Saturday. They're
I think the most you're able to do outside is make snow angels.
I know.
Oh, how pretty.
Oh, look at the
horses.
ponies.
Well, that's beautiful.
In Bologna.
Three Sisters
Cold
Farm.
ponies.
I love that. That's Three Sisters Farm. That's great.
And Cabot.
What's going on at Seatown?
Yeah.
How many inches? What
Doing
you
a
said
good
about 3
measurement.
3.5.
Yeah.
She has the good eyes.
Yeah, I know. Yes, the young eyes up here.
I don't know. I'm the only one with glasses on right now. I don't know how true that is.
Batesville. Well, Tracy, you said to Northeast Arkansas. I know it was later that evening, but they got a good
Yeah,
amount.
and they're having a lot of that's accidents kind of heading that way. That seems to be where we're having a lot of those. That's from Rodney Bradbury in Conway.
And this is in North Hills Boulevard in North Little Rock from Jessica Androff.
Oh, I wouldn't be driving on North Hills.
I was just about to say that.
There's a lot of places I wouldn't want to drive right now. Think about Markham, especially like between downtown and midtown, all of those hills.
That's why I gotta go home today.
We were talking about his route home. What would be the best way to go? Because any of those hills.
Back to the hotel.
And you don't know.
It's the best route home.
Sweetheart, you watching?
You don't realize there's a hill between your home and wherever you are until something like this happens.
That's
and
a
then
trick,
you
too.
realize where they are.
That's what I'm seeing this morning too. It's not that we're having giant traffic, accidents. And of course, there's not a lot of people out either, but it's people who can't quite make it up that hill, or
they're
that's
underestimating
the
winter weather.
They are, because there's enough of that sleet when it started last night. I think there's a little bit of ice underneath there, and so it's making things a little slick.
I will
You don't
say
get
from
snow.
the drive-in this morning, I saw quite a few people maybe on the side of the road with their hazards on because they underestimated what was out there, and now
you do
we're
not
having-
want to be that person.
You don't want to be that person, because then you're gonna have to wait a little while for somebody to come get you.
And it's too cold to wait.
It
is too cold
It's
to
definitely
wait.
too cold to wait. We're going to check in on how cold it is. Well, first we'll look at some radar to see what's still falling right now. Where you see the pink, I would assume is more of that sleet, just based off of those SQTs that we were looking at earlier. That gives you the profile of the atmosphere from the surface to up in the sky. We've been seeing temperatures primarily below freezing, but there is that little warm nose around a kilometer to 3 kilometers above us. But then, and once you get to the surface, a lot of us are back below freezing. So likely more of that sleet to the south, further north, where you're seeing these blues. That's more of that slow, lighter the blue, lighter the precipitation falling. Where it gets darker off to our northeast, that's more moderate to heavy snow falling. So even with the blowing snow here in Little Rock, it's heavier for some of our neighbors towards Searcy and Jonesboro and over towards Tennessee. Now, our winter storm warning continues through 6 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's the time frame where we're going to expect precipitation to continue to fall. But beyond that is where we're going to see that cold next several days. We'll continue to see precipitation through the middle part of the day. I think by this evening, that'll be the conclusion of round 1. Round 2 picking up overnight and into Sunday. Could see some sleet, but also looking to see more of that snow moving in across central Arkansas by your Sunday morning. I don't know if anybody's having church in person tomorrow. Likely we're all streaming from our home in the comfort of that warmth. As we continue through the day, though, more of that snow moving north and east through the state. I think by afternoon, spotty snow coverage to the northern half of the state, and then that breaks down by tomorrow evening, where we'll see some skies clearing, but temperatures continuing to bottom out through your Monday morning. Now, this is actually where we are right now. 12 degrees in the capital city, feeling like 0. 10 degrees in Searcy, feeling like 10 below 0. 10 up in Clinton, feeling like 2 below 0. That's why I say, as tempting as it may be to get outside, not much fun that can be had in this type of winter weather. Again, our extreme cold warning continues through Monday. Our weather impact alert continues through Tuesday, because it won't be until Tuesday afternoon that we get above freezing to at least get some melting out the way. So whatever falls between now and tomorrow evening is going to stay on the ground for a couple days. We wake up Monday morning and Tuesday morning more in the single digits to central Arkansas. Again, feeling several degrees below 0. At least Tuesday afternoon, we're expecting some sunshine and some above freezing temperatures, which will help us get some melting done. But over the next several days, once we get below freezing again overnight, anything that melts that hasn't fully evaporated is going to refreeze. And then we got another cool down in store for the second half of next week, where it looks like we're going to have temperatures below freezing again in the afternoon.
All right, Symone, thank you very much. We all know it has been a very busy and active time around central Arkansas, waking up to that sleet, snowfall this morning, following all of this overnight winter weather that has continued. Now, the cold is allowing that snow and that sleet to accumulate around these bridges and streets and overpasses.
Yeah, THV 11's Tamer Knight joins us live in Little Rock now with the latest look of conditions. Tamer, how is it going?
Well, Ashley, Hayden, I sound like a broken record because, again, I'm going to say it. It's cold out here, and the wind is not letting up, and neither is the sleet. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but I'm going to step aside so you can take a look at this beautiful view of the state capitol covered in snow this morning. We're going to show you these flags and show you just how fast they're moving, to show just how fast the wind is blowing out here. You know, it's cold. We've seen a couple cars get stuck. They are cleaning the street just a little bit to the left of us. There's a bobcat kind of clearing the roadways. If our cameraman wants to pin over there to kind of show how they're cleaning up around the Capitol. But again, the roadways are still hazardous. The ice is still accumulating on the roadways. So again, I'm gonna say, like I've been saying all morning, if you don't have to get out, please, 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 just stay home. This is a good day to watch your favorite movies. Eat your favorite snacks that I know everybody bought at the store, because again, the shelves were empty when I went to the store. So if you're at home, stay there. Don't even bother coming out in this weather, because it's only going to get worse. And like Symone said, it's 0 degrees outside and it feels like it. I think if we're still on track from what we were this morning, that wind chill feeling a little bit like -5, maybe -1. It's cold. Stay home, and hopefully things will get better over the next couple of hours. For THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
Understatement of the century. All right, Tamer, thank you. And it looked like somebody was actually kind of stuck, had their hazards going on, so hopefully they make it safe. And if you can, don't get out. Stay home.
Don't get out. We're going to head north now to check on the city of roundabouts.
Yes, we are. Let's head up to Conway. Jenny Day, who is from San Diego. She has joined us so far this morning. And I got to say, I think she's a native Arkansan now, the way she's hanging out.
We're adopting
meeting
you.
folks. Yeah, we had those cute girls that got to say hello, and they're sledding, doing all that fun stuff. And Jenny, I feel like we grew up together now.
I know. I'm part of the team now. I'm so happy to be joining you guys because, again, we all know how much of an impact this storm is having on the entire nation, really with the exception of San Diego. We're getting a little bit of rain. But, yes, this is the focus today. You know, about half the state's seeing a whole lot of snow, the rest of the half more of that freezing rain. So what a difference a day makes, though. When I landed yesterday, it was bone dry, and now we can see that really a good amount of snow has fallen, but it's really a fluffy kind of powdery snow. There's not a whole lot of slush or wetness to this rain, which makes for a little bit better driving conditions. I hope that continues to be the case. But yeah, about a year's worth of snowfall essentially overnight, and we are just getting started. This again is expected to last several days now. Downtown Conway, boy, you see it here. A lot of people heeding those warnings to stay home. Businesses are closed. Not very many people out here at all. I imagine it is usually bustling and great. But yeah, we are here. Chestnut and Oak Street is our cross streets here, and things are looking good. Again, sure, it's cold. We're about 14 degrees right now with a -2 wind chill, but hey, bring it on. So you see one car making its way down the road here. If you are familiar, it took us about an hour and 15 minutes to get from Little Rock to Conway, when typically that commute should take about 30 minutes. So everyone was just being really mindful, going slowly on the highway. We did speak with the transportation department just a bit ago, and they really feel like they've done a lot of prep work to keep everyone safe. And so just go slow, stay home if you can. We talked with 2 little girls who actually are the only ones who would prefer it to be a slushy snow because their snowman wasn't very successful. But they told me they're going to plan on sledding right near their home and just kind of leaning in and enjoying this, because I know this doesn't happen all that often. But we're just going to keep you posted. You know it. We are covering the entire state and just making sure that people know what's happening, and it's just kind of fun to give you a look at the conditions. But it's beautiful, just a winter wonderland out here. But certainly stay safe. Do not slam on those brakes if you have to go out and about. But otherwise, we're good. I'm happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. It's a good day to spend a Saturday sledding a little bit up in Conway, having fun. And Jenny, thank you so much for making your way to Arkansas. Be safe heading back to Little Rock. It's pretty crazy you said to Conway, a 30-minute drive maybe. The fact that it took so long can tell you how bad these conditions are.
It took over an hour.
Ugh.
Yeah, well, you could get out there and just drive around the roundabouts for about 30 minutes.
There you go. There's a lot of roundabouts
There's a lot
up there. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. Energy Arkansas also executing their storm plan ahead of all this mess. The company says it has roughly 3,500 employees and lots of trucks, as we've seen this morning, at its disposal, ready to respond to anything that pops up. They spent the last few days trying to get ahead of potential problems, inspecting equipment, and proactively trimming trees that could fall on power lines. Still, some outages are unlikely. If your power does go out, Entergy asks for patience, saying restoration times can vary based on the weather, damage, and access to the affected areas. Also this morning, travel disruptions are growing as these conditions continue this morning.
Yeah, Clinton National Airport officials say all departing flights scheduled before noon are canceled today. And anyone flying later today or on Sunday, tomorrow, you should check directly with your airline before heading out.
Now, some of those flights are still operating, but airport crews are working around the clock to keep the runways safe.
We use different equipment for different types of precipitation. So whether it's pre-treating the runways with chemicals or using a snow broom or a plow to clear the snow off that way, they've got everything tested, checked all the maintenance requirements, and they are ready to go when the weather happens.
With slick roads across the area, travelers are urged to allow extra time and avoid unnecessary trips to the airport if their flight is not confirmed.
And the airport will be updating within the next hour or so, so just keep checking in to see what's going on.
Getting closer to noon as these temperatures keep falling here in the state. This massive winter system putting much of the country on alert this morning and into the weekend. Snow and ice are expected to spread across cities nationwide. CBS's Christian Benavidez reports nearly half of the U.S. from here in the south to the northeast now bracing for these dangerous conditions.
The first snow has already started to fall in Texas and Oklahoma, part of a winter blast that has roughly 180 million people under a winter storm warning from the Rockies to the Northeast. In Boston, grocery stores were slammed and supplies were running low at this hardware store.
Yeah, we've been selling a ton of ice melt and shovels. We're running low on stock, but I think we should have enough for the storm.
At least 17 states and Washington, D.C. have declared states of emergency. In New York City, up to 18 inches of snow is forecast, 700 salt spreaders, and more than 2,000 sanitation workers will be deployed.
While we cannot control how much snow will actually fall this weekend, we can control how we prepare for and respond to this storm.
Down south, 18,000 utility workers were pre-positioned in the Carolinas, while at Tennessee State Operations Center, officials will monitor road conditions in real time. The Salvation Army in Arlington, Texas, is preparing overnight beds and meals for people seeking refuge from the storm. And in Austin, sanitation trucks have been treating the roads.
We are preparing for the worst because we never completely know what the weather is going to do in Texas.
Residents here worry about a repeat of a deadly ice storm in 2021 that overwhelmed the state's power grid system, leaving millions of people in the dark and cold.
The ERCOT grid has never been stronger, never been more prepared, and is fully capable of handling this winter storm.
The National Weather Service is calling this system a historic storm, packing a mix of ice and snow with extremely cold air on the back end. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
And while this storm continues to move through, the biggest threat for many is the dangerously cold temperatures. Extreme temperatures can turn deadly fast, especially for older adults, young children, and anyone without reliable heat. And as it gets colder, the danger rises. Nationwide, more than 1,000 people died from cold exposure or hypothermia in 2023, with the highest risk happening in January. Experts say if you must go outside, cover exposed skin and dress in loose layers, protecting the face, hands, feet, and ears. Frostbite often hits first in those areas. If the body loses heat faster than it can make it, hypothermia can set in, causing confusion, slurred speech, and extreme fatigue.
As the coldness progresses and the frostbite increases, you could have things like numbness. Your extremities could get very pale and then can get hardened as well as you continue to progress through that.
Call 911 immediately if someone shows these signs. Cold conditions also increase slips, falls, and crashes, so keep warm gear in your vehicle in case you're stranded. And here's a look at the state's power outage map. We checked power outages overnight and just over 400 customers were without electricity. As of right now, the number has climbed to more than 5,600 across the state as this winter storm continues to move through. Crews are tracking outages in real time as conditions worsen.
All right, let's take a look at those road conditions again. We're seeing mainly snowy, but also a bit of a snow, slush, ice situation going on. Still seeing, again, a few accidents around the state as we are starting to see people get out and about. Again, take your time if you do have to get out. This is certainly going to be one of those days that if you can stay home, it is the day to do it for sure. And most of these accidents that we have seen have been more about people sliding off the roads. Again, not any major accidents so far. That's good news. But again, if you do get stuck and you're on the side, it's going to take a little while to get you back on the roads again. So let's take a look again. We're going to look around the city and see how things are going. This is downtown, 630, right around that pedestrian bridge, real close to us here at THV 11. There are some folks on the road, again, seeing cars start to try to make their way, but we're seeing people underestimate these road conditions, I think, a little bit. Even some SUVs are getting stuck. Again, a little bit of an incline. Folks are having a little trouble climbing that. Let's jump again to, let's go to Kiel. There we go. Again, folks on the roads, interstates, looks like they carved a little path there. So again, but we're going to see these temperatures continue to fall. Again, anything that's frozen is just going to continue to. We're not really going to see any melting as we're heading over the next couple of days. And that colder air, as Simone and I were mentioning, it's not here yet. It's cold now, but again, it's going to get even colder. Let's take a look at 430 River Bridge. Again, when I was looking earlier, the clouds were a little bit lower. Yeah, it looks cold and gloomy there for sure. But folks have been taking the bridge. I remember being very, very young and having to take this bridge when it was icy. Always scared me to death. To be perfectly honest, it still does. But I know the ARDOT crews have been out there. They've been treating these roads again. They've been doing a fantastic job. In fact, we found them again. Again, thank you so much again to ARDOT for all the work they did to prep us for this, and then also just that continued work on the roads, just making sure that everyone is safe, doing a little plowing there. So thank you so much. But again, we're going to continue to see these temperatures fall, and then also more precipitation headed our way. One more look here. Again, let's look on Scott Hamilton and Southwest Little Rock. Again, not a lot of people out, and that's what I like to see for sure. As we are heading into the next few hours, again, that live traffic is going to continue to stay just a little bit again, slow. So if you do have to get out, hopefully it's you're an essential personnel. Again, we just need to make sure we are staying home. But overall, those road temperatures aren't going to warm up at all. We're continuing to stay below freezing, and not just below freezing, but extremely below, friends. We're talking 3 degrees by Monday. So that deep Arctic air hasn't made it here yet. So things are going to continue to be a bit treacherous as we're heading into early next week. Hopefully the interstates will be a little bit better. I know ARDOT's going to do everything they can, of course, to keep us all safe. But those back roads and side roads may take until midweek or so to begin that big thaw.
Well, as Tracy mentioned, it's going to take several days to start to see some improvement on road conditions. We've still got well over a day to continue to see precipitation falling that will continue to impact road conditions. Mainly snow across the northern 2/3 of the state, where you see this pink further south. That is some sleet falling. Now, we do have a little bit of that mixing in here in Pulaski County. We'll talk about the snow reports. We are seeing primarily closer to Pulaski County, Lono County, central Arkansas. Where we get these preliminary snow totals, there are some reports of some sleet mixed in with that. Now, here's some of the greatest totals right now. Mayflower is our big winner so far this morning with 6.8 inches recorded. Again, this is preliminary totals. Second place is the National Weather Service office in North Little Rock, 6 inches so far. Conway, 5.2. Point Cedar and Hot Spring County, Alum Fork, I hope I said that correctly, in Saline County, both reporting 5 inches. And then some more places that are trending a little bit lower. Batesville and Independence County, 4.5 inches. Ferndale out in West Pulaski, 4 inches. Cabot, 3.5 so far. Marshall up in Searcy County, 2.8. And Flippin, Arkansas and Marion, that's up to our north, only reporting 1.8. Now, I feel like that may be they just haven't updated reporting, but that's the numbers we have so far. As we've talked about, the precipitation is expected to continue through at least tomorrow evening. That's why we still have this winter storm warning in effect that'll stay in effect through Sunday evening. Our extreme southern counties under that ice storm warning. We're watching out for those impacts down there. We've been talking about potential power outages throughout the morning. We'll have another update on that before the show ends. But likely through the day today, round one looking to conclude by this evening, where you're checking in with our evening team, likely seeing a little bit of a lull in precipitation, but round two looking to pick up overnight into Sunday, where a lot of it could start as some sleet for central and southern Arkansas, but looking to see a little bit more snow working across central Arkansas between tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, and then round two looking to conclude by tomorrow evening, and that's when we'll see our winter storm warning expire. We've been talking about, though, even once the precipitation stops, we've got a long stretch of cold, which is going to make it hard for any of this to melt. Our extreme cold warning right now in effect through Monday, but I want you to look at the next couple mornings. These are your feels like temperatures for tomorrow morning. Up to our northwest, some negative or below zero feels like, 0 degree feels like in Clinton and in Mountain Home, some single digits on the board, some teens closer to home. Monday morning, though, things really get kicked into gear with that cold air in place. All of us feeling below freezing. Probably won't have work or school on Monday. 9 below zero, expected in the capital city. 14 below zero expected to be that feels like in Clinton. Harrison with a feels like of 18 below zero. This is why we have the extreme cold warning in effect. Now, Tuesday not feeling much better. Still going to feel like the single digits to a few degrees below freezing, but Tuesday afternoon is when we're expecting to get above freezing again. So our weather impact alert will continue through at least Tuesday morning, because that's when we're going to see the most dangerous part of this cold air sticking around. Even once we get to Tuesday afternoon, though, we'll see some sunshine, we'll see some upper 30s. That'll help things melt a little bit, but with some of the totals we're seeing, it's going to take us more than Tuesday to melt. And as you see, even beyond Tuesday, we're dipping back into the teens overnight and getting into the 30s in the afternoon. It's likely that we'll have another cold shot of air for the second half of next week that keeps those afternoon highs below freezing.
All right, Simone, thank you. Here's a look at our schedule for this winter weather event on THV 11 Plus. So if you're interested in keeping up with everything, and I know you are, we are going to have streams all throughout the day. You can see right there Oh man, we got the whole crew staying in downtown Little Rock, ready to keep you updated as this weather impact, and I think that is the understatement of the century, Tracy Beene, talking about how much we've had to deal with everything. But yeah, there's a schedule for you. Of course, our friends on the evening crew will be here a little bit later, keeping you updated and getting you ready for the rest of the weekend and heading into Monday. So there you go. Also, check this out, THV 11 Plus. I love this. Live radar, it is constantly keeping you updated for this winter blast. This is awesome. And Tracy's pictures on it too. How about that?
We rotate. Everybody's on it.
I love it. I love it. Oh, Nathan, go back to Tracy.
I'm sure Simone's on her way.
Coming. Tom's coming.
Wait for Simone. Oh, well, let's wait for Simone. Here we go.
Yep.
Oh, Simone.
There's Nathan.
Where are you coming?
Staying a little too long. Come on, Nathan. Move it along. Move it along.
I think Nathan went in and added extra.
There we
go. There we go.
Each clip has 10 seconds,
Okay.
so that it's gonna feel like all. But we want to make sure you see what we're advertising. We always have something happening on THV 11 Plus for you to come back for. Our morning stream Monday through Friday. Tom has been doing these weather impact streams, but he also has the Tom show on Monday nights. Nathan with Weatherwise, as you just saw, and I typically do some streams on Sunday afternoons to give you a preview of the week ahead. But obviously, with what's happening this weekend, Tom will be taking that over tomorrow. But you see, we flip back and forth between the radar that gives you the difference with the winter weather and the one that just shows that we have precipitation falling. But during severe weather season, that other version of the radar will give you more of the warnings and watches that we're tracking as well.
So that QR code, that takes you to that radar.
There is a man in his Barkley just staring at that thing all day. And I respect you, sir, very much for doing it. Absolutely. Speaking of sitting in the Barkley and taking pictures, we have got photos from you guys, 501-376-11. Oh, we got our first dog. I love it. Love it. Oh, there we go. The hometown, C-Town. Hey, everybody, my fellow Panthers. We got a new football coach this week.
I heard.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Good luck, coach.
That's
Lakeview Road.
North Little Rock. Sandra, thank you so much.
Love seeing these pictures. Keep them rolling in left and right. It's always so interesting too to see all the there's Shirley, Arkansas.
That's near my hometown.
How about that?
Yeah.
Glad the baby is bundled up because it's very cold.
That's the thing too, is I know Austin. I lived there in high school. There you go. That's the thing about all these snow angels and snowball fights and snowmen and everything. They're great, but Simone, golly, it's so cold out there. I don't know how long you can stand.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. A little sledding.
For all that.
I respect it though.
Now the sledding is good.
Oh, there's Lake Hamilton.
Sledding will be fun. I wonder how much of these bodies of water, maybe not Lake Hamilton specifically, but just bodies of water in general, are frozen over right now with things as cold as they are.
Is that a body of water? It
Lake,
looks like
well, it used to be. And it will be again in 2.5 years.
Now, don't try to go out there and do any ice skating.
I mean, maybe thinly, we have some areas that are just a little bit thicker in the deeper water, but some of those little streams and little ponds, sure.
Ooh, Roland.
That's a good little amount.
Now, I can't see the numbers that well. We're going to have to go look at this
I call my
behind the
dad.
scenes.
He lives in Roland.
Yeah.
Oh, does he really? Oh,
Yeah.
Mapleville.
oh, look at the frozen tree. Wow.
Wow, that's
That's
gorgeous.
interesting. Yeah, the wind is blowing. Oh,
Back
there we
to the
go.
dog.
Back to the dog.
You keep showing the dog.
Back to the
He's
dog
good.
eating the snow.
Yeah, we love the dog.
We had to, old George, my pup, he's at home. Husband's taking care of him. Thank you, my love, for taking care of George.
And JD
apparently,
too.
Yes, exactly. Apparently, George is very finicky on where he likes to do his business. So JD made sure to put, down a tarp, and he's got several different areas, and he'll go and lift the tarp so
There
that
we go.
you know.
Find the grass.
Listen, these are tips that people need to
That's
know.
a
because
distinguished little gentleman.
Yes, he is. So, Mr. George,
His name
ready.
is George.
King George III.
We'll keep sending in, if you've got pictures, you're having fun, it's the pups, it's you guys, beautiful pictures, beautiful scenery. We want to see them all. So 501-376-1111. And I want you to stay home and take those pictures and have fun with the dogs and the kids and all that. And make some crock pot meals. Send me those as well. Let's take a look at the traffic because you do not want to be out on the roads. We're seeing a few accidents here and there. This is, you're heading into downtown. Wow. Again, those roads are just covered with a bit of snow, and I think there's probably a little bit of ice underneath there too. We're seeing a lot of people slipping and sliding. A lot more accidents this morning, honestly, than I thought we would see. And a few of those have been, SUVs and maybe a little overconfidence there in their ability. So
always have that handful of people that underestimate.
yeah, listen, I tell people I'm not driving on it, and so these sweet people here at the station drive me around when this is happening. We stay downtown, and I'm not even driving from the hotel.
You can usually see the state capitol
exactly
pretty clearly in this shot.
Yeah,
you cannot see it.
Visibility is down again this morning, and we're seeing again those waves of a bit of sleet, and then we'll see a few periods of some freezing rain, which is worrisome, you know, because that of course is where we start to see a lot of trouble with the power, you know, with the trees, the limbs getting a little heavy from that and breaking, and then there's power lines, and that makes the roads a real big mess. So
that is crazy.
I know.
You can tell me that was a picture of 6:30.
I know.
That's
It doesn't even
crazy.
look.
It
10
doesn't
o'clock
even
on a Saturday morning.
I can
Nothing.
only tell because of the Children's Hospital.
So,
to the right.
yeah, I typically use that shot first thing in the morning. It's a pretty shot. We've got the Capitol and Children's, and it's a pretty shot. And you can't even tell it's the same space.
No. It's crazy. It's
You
hard
know?
to tell.
It's crazy.
Can we actually, while we're talking about camera shots looking different, can we take our weather camera on top of Simmons Bank Tower? Because you can't see most of the stuff you usually get to see.
It's kind of a
on
white
that
out.
image. Yeah.
It's a bit. It's cold out there.
Cold with some blowing snow, blowing sleet.
If I got out of bed in the morning and I see this first thing, I'm like, yep, not going anywhere. That's it. I am staying in.
Fargo, Arkansas looks great.
That's exactly what it feels like it too.
Or Alaska.
There are some people though that cannot wait to get out in this stuff, and don't do it. It's just we heard from ARDOT earlier, and everyone talking about having to get crews out, and it makes their job harder. If, like Symone said, there were people that were on the side of the road as she was coming in this morning with flashers on, and you think, I can do this, and then you find out quickly you cannot.
And if you do have to get out, we talked about too. Make sure you have a little kit in the car, a blanket. Make sure your phone's charged up. Some snacks even, because you could be there a minute.
You have plenty
some
of gas.
Water, gas, and because you may have to wait a little while for that towing, because it's taking them a bit, to get around.
As a Nissan driver, if you're in any type of Nissan, don't even think about it.
Well, from this Nissan driver, we're back in 2 minutes on THV 11 Plus.
Welcome back, guys. We're giving Hayden and Ashley a little bit of a break. Tracy and I are going to be here. I've got our comment section up on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to answer some questions for you for the next 10 to maybe 15 minutes as we continue to track the winter weather in the state. Tracy, how are you doing this morning?
Good. It's cold out there, and we've talked about how some gusts that are around 20 to 30 miles per hour. The sustained winds are really whipping around as well. Temperatures are down around 12 degrees, and the wind chill is down closer to 3 to 5. it's chilly out there, and the roads are a bit of a mess too. Last night we had some snow roll through, and that was nice. And so we woke up anywhere from 3 to 6 inches around central Arkansas. And then we're going to start to see again things get a little bit better as we're heading into midweek or so, but we're going to have to wait a little while. So all of that stuff that is on the ground is going to continue to stay there for a while, and we're probably going to have some issues as we are heading into Monday and Tuesday with schools, and I think maybe even with work. So in the side roads and the back roads especially.
Yeah, I do see a few people in our Facebook comments just kind of mentioned that we had some power outages. I was scooting over to pull up that map.
She said move. That's what she said.
No, that's not what I meant. Just, taking a check-in on that. If we can actually bring Storm Track 11 full to just see some of the power outages now. The person I saw in our Facebook comments, they're out of Grant County. We do have a few people out in Grant County right now, but really seeing more of those power outages across western and southwestern Arkansas, Polk County, that is in our coverage area. We have about 128 people out there.
Yeah, just to the south there we have over 2,000. And yeah, look at that. And then
and that part of the state is where we've been seeing more of that freezing rain to sleet, if you will. Something I guess we can talk a little bit more about is just we'll take back Max 1 full in the meantime while I kind of explain this. We talked a little bit over the stream about, the show earlier, even though everybody is below freezing right now, what's happening in the upper atmosphere is making the difference right now with the snow versus the sleet versus the freezing rain. There is a little bit of warm air, and by warm air I mean just barely above freezing aloft, that is trying to make more of an icy situation for some of our neighbors to the south. I'm going to refresh some of our images to show you what we've been looking at this morning. If we can bring back Storm Track 11, I'm sorry, we are bouncing around a little bit, but I want to explain where we're seeing the difference. Now, this is our HER model, one of our high resolution models that we like to use sometimes to kind of give you an idea of what's coming up. Now, obviously, these models don't exactly nail the forecast because right now at 10 a.m., this was the HER projection, and maybe some of our neighbors to our extreme western and northwestern are getting a little bit of a lull in precipitation right now. But what I want to bring up is the feature that this offers where you can see your SKU-T charts or your upper air observations. This is out of Pine Bluff. This is the forecast SKU-T for 10 a.m. If you were watching our show earlier, I did give you a brief explanation as to what this is, but if you're somebody new joining in this morning, I want to explain. There's a lot on the screen, but what I want you to pay attention to is the left-hand side where you see my mouse. This is that upper air sounding that we're talking about. Now these two blue lines you see, those are temperature measurements. Right here, this blue line, that's right at the freezing mark. These numbers down here are your temperatures in Celsius. So the freezing mark in Celsius is 0 degrees. These two lines that you see that are a bit curved moving up, the red line is the actual air temperature. The green line is your dew point, or the amount of moisture in the air. So what I want to paint the picture for you here, in the upper atmosphere, both temperature profiles are below freezing. They stay pretty much below freezing until you get to 700 millibars, or roughly 3 kilometers above the atmosphere. Between 3 kilometers and 1 kilometers, there is a slight moment where we're over that freezing mark. That's the point where your snowflake is melting, but then it has time to refreeze again before making it to the surface. So somewhere like Pine Bluff has seen that sleet this morning because, oops, that's what the profile looks like. But comparatively, somewhere like El Dorado, down in Union County, a little bit closer to the freezing mark, but still a deeper warm nose where the air is even a little bit warmer in that warm nose, so it makes it a little bit harder for it to completely refreeze before you make it to the surface. Looking at somewhere like Greenville, Mississippi though, where at the surface they're right at 30 degrees, so right at that freezing mark, but that is likely closer to more of a freezing rain just because of how warm that air gets. That snowflake completely melts and then it touches a sub-freezing surface, which gives you that icy glaze. So that's kind of the difference we're seeing. This is happening just above our heads at 1,000 meters to 3,000 meters. And again, comparatively, somewhere like a mountain home to our north, through the entire column, we're staying below that freezing mark. Again, this blue line right here is that freezing mark. We're staying behind that. So that is where we're seeing the difference in precipitation. We'll take it back to Max 1. I hope that was a good explanation for why we're seeing the variation in wintry weather. I think Tom and Nathan have been talking a little bit about this over the past couple of days, that even with round 2 that's looking to pick up tonight, Tracy, some of that warm air might try to nose its way a little bit farther north in the state. So at the onset, we might have a little bit of freezing rain tonight before we see the transition back to sleet and hopefully back into snow for your Sunday morning.
Yeah, that's why you'll see these temperatures that are well below freezing, and you think, well, we should have snow, but it's going through that warm layer, and so again, it's melting and it doesn't have time to refreeze and become sleet, and so it's falling to the ground and it just attaches to whatever it falls onto, whether that's a tree limb, a car, roads. It causes all kinds of issues, and it gets heavier and heavier. Now we are again seeing those temperatures begin to stick around maybe the teens today for those highs. Currently it is again around the state 12 in central Arkansas. We've got that really cold air mass again as it has made its way through. It's still keeping things a little bit warmer down to our south. This temperature difference, take a look, it is 25 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday. So 28 in Arkadelphia. Definitely seeing that cold air come in from the northeast there as we are heading into, again, the day. We're going to continue to see these winds. They're going to kick around, some gusts of 20 to 25, maybe even 30. They're still coming from that northeast. So again, very, very cold. This seems to kind of be the area we're seeing those biggest gusty areas. So talking about today, I'm going to show you 2 different hour by hours. I love this map. I love it because, or this graphic, because it shows to me kind of a nutshell of things. Now looking at our temperatures today, hour by hour, it also shows us what it will feel like for the wind chill, and then it also shows us what weather we could expect timing wise. So again, a bit of sleet as we're heading into, again, around the noon hour, but then we may see a little brief area of that freezing rain. Now get a little break again, so you can see it's going to be one of those days where it's going to be a little on and off, and so that freezing rain time is again when we're going to have to make sure we're staying extra cautious there. Now here's another hour by hour, again still same time frame, but this shows those winds still looking again same as before, those temperatures around the teens. We are seeing though that northeasterly breeze, as I mentioned, it is going to stay out of the northeast. The sustained winds again anywhere from 15 to 20, and those gusts are still going to be up there breezing through here, again 25 to 30. That is what is dropping those temperatures down to those feels like into those very low single digits. These are our preliminary snow totals again across the state. We are seeing around Faulkner, Pulaski, Springs, Saline, anywhere from that 5 to 6. Look at Mayflower there, almost 7 inches. And then as we are looking again at Batesville, Ferndale, Cabot, Marshall, Flippin, anywhere from that just under 2 up to about 4.5. So more snow, I think, than a lot of folks thought they were going to get, but we are still under that winter weather alert again and watching for that ice down to the southern portion of the state. So Symone, do you want to talk a little bit more about, as we're heading into the future here, future radar? This is one of our models, talking a little bit more about what to expect as we're heading into the next few hours and few days, really.
Yeah, so we'll continue to see some of that wintry mix through the afternoon and into the evening. I think round 1 will likely conclude by the time we have our evening newscast at 6 o'clock. Now again, this is just one model's estimate. This won't be exactly what happens, but this is the trend. Now what we were looking at earlier for the CUTs was the HER model. This is our in-house graph model, just because I do think it is handling where we see that warm air, kind of that nose of warm air move in overnight a little bit better. Now overnight into your Sunday, round 2 starts to move in. Right now, this is projecting a lot more pink on the board. I do think this pink could either be a mix of sleet and some freezing rain, because that is the only downside with these models. It can't exactly give the distinguishment between where we're going to see the sleet versus the freezing rain. But I do think further south, with more of those places in the 20s to our extreme southeast, that's where the ice storm warning is. Likely will be more of a freezing rain threat. Closer to Little Rock and central Arkansas, I do think more of a sleet threat that will transition into more snow, digging its way further south by your Sunday morning. likely that people aren't going to make it to in-person church tomorrow, find a good pastor maybe on YouTube that you can stream if you are missing out on that. But it definitely is not recommended to try to hit the roads tomorrow morning. Through the middle part of the day, I'm going to see precipitation coverage start to break down to more spotty coverage, but still looking to see some snow out there. And then this is starting to conclude by Sunday evening. Again, our winter storm warning is in effect until 6 p.m. So that is what we'll continue to see through Sunday evening. And then even once the precipitation stops, we're not going to get much relief with any melting because the dangerous cold will stick around. We have our extreme cold warning right now through Monday. That's when we'll see wind chill values get as low as 10 below zero to 20 below zero. We've been seeing some wind chills below zero this morning already, but as you'll see over the next couple mornings, it gets even colder. These are feels like temperatures for Sunday. Few places, Mountain Home, Clinton, feeling like 0 degrees. Fayetteville and Harrison feeling like 4 below zero. As you transition further south, feels like temperatures in more of the teens and upper single digits. But Monday is expected to be our most frigid morning, feeling like 9 below zero in the capital city, 14 below zero as it feels like in Clinton, Batesville with a feels like of 16 below zero. So definitely does not look like we'll have work or school on Monday because there's no way we're going to get anything melted in this. And then of course, once you get this cold, this can be hazardous to health for wind chill values that cold, especially in the south. Tuesday, slight improvement, not much better, likely feeling like 1 below zero. We'll have a few places feeling like 0 Tuesday morning. That's why weather impact alert, we went ahead and extended it to Tuesday.
Yes.
Because it won't be until Tuesday afternoon we even get above freezing, and then it still won't even feel above freezing.
And even when it does go above freezing, it's not going to be much, and then we're going to drop back down again at night.
So then once we get to the second half of next week, when we try to send people back to school, we got to deal with black ice in the morning.
Right, and those back roads and those buses are always something that we take into account. You know, you think that the town, you go out and you're about and you're like, it's fine out there, but there's so many buses, especially areas like Pulaski County. That district is so large that safety has to come first for sure. And I will tell you, my daughter Addison, who's 11, she is apparently a meteorologist just by association. And so all of her friends have been asking her if we were going to have school on Monday or Tuesday. Were they going to get out early Friday?
You know, I'm not the one to make that call, but I would not be surprised if there are several days that they're out next week.
Yeah.
This reminds me of, I feel like it was January of 2018 maybe, my first year in college. We ended up with a whole week out of school because it was the week of MLK Day, so we were already out that Monday for the holiday, but we had an ice storm move through, and really the ice makes it harder than the snow would. And if we had a long stretch like this where temperatures were so cold it didn't have time for things to melt. I don't think we went to school at all this week, and if we did, we maybe only made it to school on Friday.
Wow.
That's how long it took for things to get.
It takes a minute, in the shaded areas as well. So, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we don't make those decisions, but I'll be surprised. And I know that Addie's teacher sent home work for next week.
And I'm sure these days now, with more opportunities for remote learning and Chromebooks logging in, the kids might not get as much of a break as they think they will.
And I miss a regular old snow day. Where you don't do schoolwork or you don't work from home. You just go outside and have a good time.
I'm sure a lot of people probably feel like this is a ripoff because you can't even make a snowman in this. And now they still have homework.
Maybe at least enjoy some downtime. So
enjoy some downtime, some time with family.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of families having time together that they maybe haven't had since the holidays with the hustle and bustle of the new year.
I do have a question, and you can put it into again comments here. What is the one thing when you hear you're going to be locked in the house for a long time, in that one food item or that one thing that you just have to have? You absolutely have to have if you're going to be stuck in the house. Maybe it's a food item, maybe it's just to make sure that you've got, movies ready and you kind of plan that out a little bit just to prepare.
Some type of soup, and I guess the specific soup will vary on how I'm feeling that day.
Right.
But always need something warm to keep you warm on the inside. I love soups, I love teas. I've really been trying to cut out added sugar. So previously I might have said some hot chocolate, but not doing much of that right now.
Well, we will have soups for sure. And I made soups before I left because I'm staying, of course, down here and family's back at home. But I made sure they had taco soup, and then I just made a ton of it.
I'm excited because
so
after
you can just eat on
this,
it.
we got some gumbo to eat.
She made us gumbo. Very excited about that. And I won't have to travel far for that gumbo.
Listen,
just to the break room.
I've joked about this before. I can definitely tell when you're in the Mid-South versus the Deep South, because I feel like in the Mid-South, when it gets cold, everybody makes chili. Yeah. But in the Deep South, everybody pulls out their pots and we make gumbo.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too.
I'm raised in the Deep South. That is what I've been itching to make. So excited for us to. We got something for the whole weather team.
Well,
so
we're excited about it.
Later, maybe Tom and Nathan can tell us what they think.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be nice.
They'll be nice. It'll be good. Well, let's take a look at our traffic map here. Again, we aren't necessarily seeing a lot of traffic, but more road conditions than anything. We are seeing, again, those roads still covered in snow and ice. I think last night when we had a bit of that come through, the ground got a little bit of ice on it, the roads anyway. We are seeing more accidents this morning than I honestly thought we would see, and none of them have been major. It's been people sliding around. So again, these road conditions are not fantastic. They're of course not the worst they've ever been, but as ARDOT has asked that we just stay off the roads because it is taking time and resources, of course, to make sure that people are, getting out of these situations. So let's take a look, a little tour, if you will, around the city and just to look at a few of these road conditions. We'll start here in Central Arkansas around the downtown area. I don't have a great shot, again, of this accident right here, but it is on a ramp. This is that pedestrian bridge right here around actually the station, but people are moving slowly and those roads are absolutely covered. Of course, there's not a lot of traffic in this downtown area because most folks are home, but there's still been a few people rolling on through. Let's go ahead and let's go to West Little Rock and see how things are looking. Always a good view here from the Big Rock Water Tower. We'll go north and south. This is looking again towards, if you're going to head out towards maybe Topgolf and that sort of way. There are folks out and about, but those clouds are a little bit lower again. That wind is moving around and it's blowing around that loose snow. And let's change directions and go north and looking here. Normally you can see all the way towards even Rodney Parham and even start to see where the river area starts. People are going slowly on those ramps. That's good news. Hopefully, again, and people will stay slowly. I'm watching them. They make me nervous when I watch them in live. But stay home if you can. Again, things are not necessarily going to get any better. We'll see these snowy conditions and these icy conditions continue. But if you're South Terminal Interchange, again, not a lot of folks out. I love to see that. That's the best thing there. Moving along slowly and carefully. And let's just go right up here again, more towards North Little Rock area. This is McCain. You can see those lower clouds. And again, I think we're still seeing that blowing snow a little bit with those winds whipping around. So it's causing a bit of that visibility issues this morning. So let's see, Ashley is showing me Saline County. Let's go look there then. All right, stop vehicle.
This is on South Street, 116, exit 116.
All right, we're going to go down to Saline County. There we go. Yep, there it is. Okay. First, I'm going to pop up. We're going to get some information about it first. Saline County's disabled stalled vehicle. Again, yes, eastbound, impacting that left lane. Let's take a look at that picture here. There we go. Yeah. And so, oh goodness.
These 18-wheelers going right by.
So that's another thing, just safety in general. You know, this truck is blowing by. There's someone underneath that car right there, kind of standing there, and then of course that car right there in front of it. So it's just so important for us to stay home if we can. I understand there's lots of folks that do have to go slipping and sliding. You can see that as they're moving around again. Just make sure you're staying safe because when we get stuck, of course, then we have to pull resources and we need to make sure that the folks that need to get to work and essential personnel are absolutely able to do that without any delays. Now, also keep in mind if you do have to get out and about, make sure that you are carrying with you a little bag of a blanket, some water, some snacks. Again, make sure your phone is charged up, maybe even a battery pack. That would always be good to have with you just to make sure and let someone know that you're leaving and let them know when you get there because sometimes, you know, that kind of gets lost in the shuffle there. But here's those road conditions again. Anywhere you see that little triangle, I'm going to zoom in here on Central Arkansas a little bit. The little triangle, that's where we have an accident. Most of those, again, are stalled vehicles, and we don't have a lot of cars on the road right now. But it's, as you just saw there in Saline County, that situation was flat out dangerous. That was nerve-wracking. Much to check on them again. But a few areas, again, we'll see a little bit more trouble, but they are all, for the most part, covered in snow, and we've got some icy conditions as well. And just take it slow if you do have to get out. And like I said, even better, just stay home if you can and enjoy that soup and the time and watch all the movies, and you can stay with us and you can jump to the radar. I mean, what's more fun than that?
I think somebody asked in our YouTube, what do you do to avoid cabin fever for the people that are going to be at home in a couple days?
Movies.
Oh, I can watch a series.
Something I would avoid, Monopoly. That drives families apart.
Yeah, it does. It does. You know, and you can bundle up. I mean, layers. Try to make sure you get something, you know, waterproof, and go for a walk. I know, not necessarily all that much fun, and you don't have to go for a long walk, but you'll be glad to get back inside. You know, so there's that.
Put some tennis rackets on your shoes.
Yeah,
They got snowshoes.
Make some weird game with the
pictures.
kids. Set up a, I don't know, even an obstacle course with kids. We do that a lot. My husband does that with the kids. Well, most of them are adults now, but even with them and with Addie, you know, you set up an obstacle course and you go do something crazy and weird and just be silly and have fun and make some memories. Make some memories. That's
if you
what
can
you
stand
do.
the cold, it is so cold.
You know, I love dogs, but I do not envy you dog parents right now that still have to take the puppies on the walk.
Yes, thank you, JD Beene. As he's taking George out.
Last
I'm not home.
Last night when everything first started falling, I saw some of my neighbors slipping a little bit with their puppies. You know, the cat parents, we just get to hang out inside and cuddle with the kitties.
It's nice to have a fenced-in backyard, but the dogs don't even want to go out.
No, they don't.
And they just stand there like, no, not doing it.
Not doing that out there.
Don't want any part of it. No, we have a doggy door. Changed our lives.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's nice.
Stetson likes it. He's a big snow guy, but the
he
other two,
does?
the puggle, not so
Mine
much.
have, you know, done the go out a little bit, put their foot in the snow.
They're like, no, thank you.
You know what's always so funny to me? This time of year when you see the videos of like huskies, the people that own
they love
huskies,
it?
they don't want to come inside.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, I saw, this has been going around Facebook, I think, for a while, but someone had, it was a husky breed or something like that, but the dog loved being outside and wouldn't come in, and people were calling the authorities on these people for you know, abusing and not like taking care of their dogs, because we talk about, you know, people, pets, and pipes, and the dog didn't want to come in. So, you know, and while we're on that, I'll jump to a serious note here too. Talking about people, pets, and pipes, the pipes. We are getting so cold in a deep Arctic freeze headed our way, the deep freeze, if you will. Make sure you're streaming, not just a little drip, but streaming, hot and cold. Open the cabinets, let the warm air in. Do that in every room that you have a sink. Again, even if it's in the middle of the house. Just let those pipes stay warm and just keep doing that. I know your water bill doesn't like it, but it's much cheaper. It's much cheaper than that plumber bill. And also on that note, I wanted to she didn't put her name on there, but I received the sweetest card yesterday. Another reason I wanted to talk about that. A lady had moved here from California, and of course she was not aware of how to deal with cold weather. And she said that she didn't know, and everybody just says drip, drip, drip. She did that. Well, $1,500 later.
Oh no!
You know. So anyway, she was thanking me for explaining that about in detail. It has to be streaming, hot and cold. Open the cabinets, all of the sinks. So it's just, you know, it's one of those little things that you get something stuck in your head about drip, 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 and maybe that works sometimes, but it is going to be cold, and it's going to be cold for a long time.
And even when we say streaming, it doesn't have to be a significant stream. Pencil width, like the size of a pencil, that's all you need. Again, a little bit of hot and a little bit of cold, just to keep both opened up. And I'll tell you, you know, this time of year when you're washing your hands, the fact that you're already streaming the hot water, it makes the water hot faster. We have a few more pictures to bring up before we go, so let's take a look at some of them. This is from Patty in Cabot, Arkansas. Looks like she's taking that from the window. Good idea, Patty, trying to stay warm.
There we go.
I love that. Benton, Arkansas.
He didn't look like that before he went outside.
I bet he's cold. This is out in West Little Rock. We don't have a name on it, but thank you for sending that.
Winter Wonderland.
It does look like it. I hope they're out there enjoying that a little bit. There's somebody out there enjoying some fun in BB.
Do badgers like the snow?
They do today. They do today.
They do today. Yes, they do.
Max and Lex out of Hot Springs.
Oh, I hope you're having fun.
That's cute.
More dog photos. Brett, you got any more dog photos?
This is from Mary Lou in Benton.
You know, it's funny. We live here, and it seems like we only say,
yeah.
That's my type of carrying on.
That's what you do in Van Buren County.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
That's good. Be careful, though.
People live for these days.
Isn't that so pretty?
That is a gorgeous photo.
They went inside.
Yeah, they're trying to get inside.
Okay, what was that on the right?
That was a cardinal.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see. You know, I can't see anything.
Daylight.
Looks like we're getting some sledding in.
Oh, there's Dutton.
Oh, Yellowstone. I like that.
That's great. Now, that looks like a dog that doesn't want to come in.
Right.
It's from Roland.
Higher elevation.
Simone, use those good eyes. What do you see?
You know,
It's still hard to see.
it's still a little hard to see. But we'll have an update on some totals coming up. We've been talking about snow totals through the morning, but we'll update those numbers some more throughout the day and either post them online or we'll check in here in a bit with another stream and we'll talk more about it. But
yeah. So Nathan and Tom are going to be in and streaming. Is it 2 or 2:30?
I think 2 o'clock.
So 2 o'clock. And they'll have all of the latest updates. And, you know, this morning, Simone and I were talking more about kind of like what happened the last 24 hours as we kind of woke up to what is it and what did we get? And Nathan and Tom will be able to kind of share a little bit more about the future as well. So, and get us all ready. But I can promise you it's about to get even colder. Oh, no. I know.
Yay.
This is good enough.
3.
You know, a great investment this time of year has been the fleece line tights that look like your skin color. These are so thick and so cozy right now. This is not an ad, but maybe when things thaw out, if you don't already, get some for the kids headed back to school.
Yeah, it's hard to decide. Like, we were in a hotel. It was hard to decide what to pack for something.
I brought
like
everything.
Right.
At this point, you need to wear everything
You
to
have
stay
boots.
warm.
You have good
I got my boots on.
Yeah.
I got my boots on. I actually was going to change shoes before the show started. I forgot, but I've had my boots on all morning, so
It's
I
all
slept
about
in my boots last
comfort and
night.
staying warm right now.
You got to make sure you're good to go. I'll say this as we look ahead to the future, as Tracy just alluded to. Here's our schedule on THV 11 Plus. If you're interested, and I know you are, of keeping up with the weather, we still have streams all throughout the day, as Tracy mentioned and Simone mentioned. 2 o'clock, you got an update with the Chief. 6 o'clock, THV 11 News at 6. It'll be right after the Razorback game, so you're good to go there. Reminder, too, by the way, sports fans like myself, Hogs were playing LSU at 7:30 tonight. That is now moved to 4 o'clock. So they bumped it up a little bit. So hopefully Coach Cal and the boys will take care of business against the Bayou Bengals of LSU. Sorry, throw it back to my sports days. 8:30, you got your weather impact alert live. I like that live. And then, of course, 10 o'clock tonight, we've got so much more as we get ready for your Sunday.
Yeah, and Simone and I'll be back tomorrow.
I was about to say, I know typically on Saturday evenings you're
Ashley,
expecting to see me, Journey, and Nick, but obviously with what's happening, we're going to have our weekday evening crew in tonight. So Tom, Nathan, Brooke, and Rolly, if I'm not mistaken. And then tomorrow we'll do this again. We'll have this crew in tomorrow morning, evening crew in back tomorrow. So we're offering extended coverage all weekend.
Also, THV 11 Plus, we don't just tell you what time we're going to be on. We got you 24/7 on the live radar, constantly keeping you updated for this winter blast. As you can see, it is updating as we speak, moving left and right. And I promise you, there is a gentleman somewhere sitting in his Barclay just watching that radar all at peace right now.
Well, that's what it's there for. You know, maybe you need to see what it looks like in your neighborhood before you try to make that run to check on a loved one. Somewhere like in Mena, if you need to go check on your grandma, it's not actively snowing right now. That's good to know.
Just be sure to text weather to 501-376-1111. You can get your